Sharif would say, and he'll be back, I think, on Thursday, we're right back to highs on USO. So the energy names continue to show a lot of strength. There's just not much you can do about it. The market's looking weak. I thought we'd hold on to, I thought that we had a decent shot to hold on to 1%, but at this point, unless you're talking about the ES, which is actually at 1% down, the NASDAQ is 1.5%. So tech is getting wrecked just a little bit more. We're going to throw it to Obi and Joey options. I know it's the street, but
and we're leaving you at the market lows.
Unfortunately.
Like really, the market is really tanking here. $270 on Amazon, $1.20 on TQs. We've already switched it over. It is not Sharif on the midday. We'll get that changed up for you very, very soon. All right, great day today. We'll be back at 2 p.m. Please join us then. Ciao. Yo.
Oh, a good matching grays here as well, too.
Yeah, that looks similar.
That looks good there. Nice. All right, guys, what's going on? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Some more news stepping into the market. Controversial, maybe, but nonetheless, it's our job to not necessarily dissect it, but report it and then tell you guys a little bit about it. And then we can base trades off of it, essentially. As Sean told you guys not too long ago, market at the lows, Obi beside me. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday. There's a lot going on, and I got a surprise for you. Where's our girl, KC 524? Is it now? Yeah. Mic issues, cell phone?
Yeah, no worries. No, hopefully everyone's doing well. There's a few things that are not doing well, and that would be a lot of the large caps today in terms of not really catching a bid. Here, Apple, I found out the news pretty late on Apple, but I was just like, this is an aggressive pull down, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Kind of gave it a couple shots there, and I was like, yep, nope, no sign of a bounce. Definitely set up for a little bit of a playbook bounce, but at the end of the day, if you're going to have snags on your deliveries and you're going to have delays on some of your iPhones, which is literally the only reason why Apple is as high as it is in terms of constituents in the tech space, is because of their phone sales, right? Like I don't think a lot of people can really argue with that. It's because of their iPhones, and if you have a negative news event for that iPhone, for said iPhone, I think that definitely price action can be warranted here. But Apple can no bounce as of yet, and I'm watching it, man. Talk about the trend trade on the day. But what's going on?
Adara. Send it off to Adara, and then we're going to do some roll call.
Yeah, actually, Obi, that inspired me. I want to go over Apple headlines because we had some negative ones too. And I think those are what I'm seeing is the reason Apple's down. But I want to talk about the market as a whole because we did get some NY Fed inflation expectations coming out, 3.42%, a little bit lower than the 3.5% expected in the prior print of 3%. Apparently, they see the year ahead, again, 3.4%. They see inflation at 3.1%. Over the next 3 years, 5-year inflation forecast remains steady at 3%. Expected house price growth coming in at 3.3%. Gasoline inflation expectations at their highest level since March of 2022. So gas inflation at 4-year highs. Other than that, things, I guess, mostly more or less in check. Now, with regards to the Apple headlines, I believe, Obi, you just mentioned the iPhone headlines there. There were 2 negative headlines for Apple. And as I'm mentioning on social media, these are what we're really seeing is the reason Apple's moving the way it is. For one, this wasn't a Trader TV Live watch list this morning, but Nikkei Asia reporting that the foldable iPhone is going to be delayed. It could be delayed by several months because there are some engineering testing issues. The second, which I only saw circulate about half an hour ago, but given the nature of it, I guess likely came out pre-market. Basically what happened was we had some analysts, including, I believe, UBS, coming out and giving maybe not the best forecast for the March quarter for Apple in terms of their App Store. So App Store prospects not as good as they were previous. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, definitely some strong catalysts on Apple will make it move the way it is for sure right now. Like no relief.
Tesla getting absolutely destroyed once again, man. I was looking at the options chain last night, Obi. I seen some interesting levels that we were talking about earlier this morning. Bang, let's go. I will do a little transaction there. We'll take some more off on IBIT, see if it pops up on the position board. Then we're rocking and rolling for that. But for all my Sharif, where you at, my boy? I know where you're at. Anyways, aside from that, guys, AIXI, a small cap name. I don't know. I might be into this world. It's pretty good. I like the way this thing is moving regardless, right? Like if we go back a little bit here, first things first, let me digress, let me take a couple steps back, and we're going to do some shout outs, not only here on YouTube, but also on TikTok, bravely. All right, guys, let's see, who do we got in the chat? You know, Jody Mills is in the chat. What's going on, Jody? Thank you for that. Dragos, how is it out in Chicago? Is it still freezing? It's pretty cold here today. Nonetheless, guys, we have Armenian Muscle. Here we go. Yes, sir. Yes, that's exactly what's going on. We have a big fight this weekend, too, just in case you were curious. Brody, yo, what's up? Andrew, Chow, KT for the one. Damien, Tarza, Bonk. All right, Arcane, great. What's going on? Trading Drew, Jody, you know who it is. It's Mike, Peter Ryder, MPD. What's going on? 2NY, what's going on there, brother? Adam DeLuce, dancing up a storm. My friend, that's exactly what we want to see, brother. We're going to take a little bit more off here on IBIT at 40s. Morning says Don Sharifo, Lemon's family, hangry wife. Number 3 in the chat today. Sit and spin. Overthinking bear. Joey Talls, what's going on? Big 40 nephew. Darwin Kalua. Aren't you supposed to be partying in Vegas? Come on, have fun with it. All right, guys. Grant Radcliffe, Party P. I gotta shout out the regulars. A couple more here. We got 2 Fox, A Day Trading. Luis, brother, what about AIXI? This thing has been absolutely monsters. Another 117, 18% here today, and we were looking for the long. This time we were patient enough. I have a story for this one, guys. I was looking to get in at $95 or 95 cents, and my cross was just too wide, and I had to be patient. I wasn't gonna chase it. Then it halts, climbs another 20 cents or so, and then off to the races it goes, and I never re-engaged. Anyways, aside from that, that was a bunch of fun. Obi, a lot going on in the market here today. We're going to give a couple names out on TikTok. Who do we have? K2 Texas, Jello, Pro Cleaners, Phil, Skyway, Bravely in the chat as well, too. Thank you. Gerano Lee Lopez, Jess, PGT, Tibbs, Brandy, Rohit, and a couple more. We have Buffalo Soldier. What's going on? We're going to say your name. What are you listening to this morning? I'm curious. But guys, nonetheless, I'm like, you know what? I haven't been trading these large caps too well as of late. So let's head over into Luis Barbados and Sharif's world. Well, what I do this morning is essentially, after I'm done bringing you guys the upgrades, the downgrades, the options activity, a lot of interesting things on Tesla we talked about this morning, I'm like, you know what? Let's get involved in this small cap world. I liked what I seen on AIXI, and I seen a bunch of people in the chat talking about it this morning. I had a missed opportunity. Now, believe me when I say it, I was trying to get in at 95 cents, 96 cents, and look for that break up, but I couldn't get in. A little hockey. Well, I'm not gonna go hockey or Joey Hockey's, no, but I had to fix the way that I was getting into these positions. Now, once I figured out what I did and what I did wrong, then that gave us the opportunity to take advantage of a little bit of a trade here. 118% on the highs on AIXI, and then now you know Joey IBIT is also in IBIT right now. So the short side, as you guys can see, we are short. Adair, breaking news. What do you got?
Keep an eye here on oil. Just seeing a headline coming through from Fox News where President Trump reportedly said, quote, 8 p.m. is happening. An unprecedented attack on Iran could still unfold, but that could change if talks improve today. So long story short, President Trump reportedly saying on Fox News that he still is holding this 8 p.m. deadline with if Iran does not open the Strait of Hormuz by 8 p.m., he is willing to have the U.S. attack their oil plants or energy plants. Again, he doesn't want that to happen, but he's basically saying if they don't give us what we want, that's what we'll do at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. deadline for now held steady. If I get more updates, you know, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Perfect, great stuff. So now I'm sitting on approximately 50% of my position here on IBIT. If the market continues to slide, it's pretty choppy here this morning. Buyers keep stepping in. We're not really breaking through the support levels and holding really well, but those were my two primaries here this morning, AIXI and then IBIT as it's slowly starting to recover here today. I would like to take some more off and just get all out, go the Neil route, hit those targets, and then get out of Dodge and look for that next potential opportunity. Let's see if we can continue this downward momentum as IBIT is really starting to squeeze, and we can see that through the tape as well. So this isn't good. These clean flushes to the top side, some strength, some symbols of strength there, Obi. We have to be cautious just in case we have to get out break even. I will re-engage on this trade when the time is right, but AIXI was him today. or her, doesn't matter. Essentially, that was the trade, and I hope everyone had a fantastic, fantastic Tuesday. Obi, what do you got today?
Yeah, I gotta start off with a super chat here by Omen 514 here, asking how do you verify a solid reversal in Apple? Okay, cool. We can talk about this right now. I'm kind of watching. I'm waiting for potential reversal as well. We might even be getting it right now, but we'll be right back with some breaking news.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a bounce here in the market. That's because the latest update from President Trump's Fox News talks, or I'm seeing at least reportedly, is that he has told Fox News that if negotiations advance and there's something tangible, the U.S. could be willing to extend the 8 p.m. deadline. So right after saying the 8 p.m. deadline is happening, he's now saying that it could be extended. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that. I'm actually looking at it right now as a potential opportunity, but you can see that there hasn't really been like a strong flush. Sure, it's been a slow and steady grind down. The strongest bars you can see right off of the open here, coming in at 930, and then you can see the rest of them a little muted after this consolidation. This is where I was getting involved with. I'm like, this is the first sign of a slowdown of those sellers. So I was just like, all right, yeah, a little bit cheeky. Wasn't hitting every metric for potential reversion, but I was like, okay, well, this is an aggressive move, a little bit outlier coming in. That 250 level I kind of like as well, and I got involved with the first bit of a slowdown. But what's the most ideal turnaround that I like to see, right? Because I like to look at reversions. I've seen and studied quite many over the past, especially over the past 4 or 5 months, I'd say. But you really want to see some sort of capitulation, some sort of volume that shows you that that buyers are stepping right back in. Now, this could turn right back all the way back up to VWAP on lower volume as the market catches a bit of a bid here on that bounce and pulls back into, what is this, into the range from 24,100 to 24 is clean on the NASDAQ, but you can also see volume spike as well, bit of a trend break at the same time. If you want to do a bit, drawing a bit of a trend here, you can see that that's happening right now as well. If you throw up some moving averages as well, I guess I can show you some of this right here. Let's go to for 1 minute. Yeah, so if you throw up a moving average on like an 80 MA or a 90 MA on a 1 minute or even a 3 minute, 3 minute is what I like to use. And on a 3 minute, it definitely is breaking. You know what we'll do? I'll actually throw it up on P Pro here, so we can take a look at. Okay, we'll go to indicators and go to create. And then right here on exponential moving average, boom, and the view is in view 0, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. And that'll be a blue line on the chart. Let's just change that. You know what? We'll go for a darker blue right there. So it's a little bit more visible on the chart. So apply, boom, right there. So you can see another good trend indicator right here that can show us some a potential for reversal as we're pulling back in. So you see the trend is starting to break here now. I want to see a bit of a follow through, right? Sometimes I like to get in right on the trend break. Sometimes I like to wait, pull back. I want to see higher lows to happen. I don't have to be early. I don't have to, get in right away and slap the bottom. It doesn't have to be that quick. But when that trend does break, I do want to start taking a closer look at it and look for higher highs and higher lows. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking for here on the day today. Again, it's catalyst driven. The selling is catalyst driven, and the market is blood red today as well. So I think there's a little bit of confluencing factors that's going into the aggressive selling on Apple today. But yeah, I think this may be worth a shot for me. I'm going to be a little bit more patient here, but you can see multiple indicators, whether you draw a trend line, whether you draw a moving average, or whether you're actually looking at some of the bars in the action. This is distinctly different, right? This is the first. Even if I look at the size and magnitude of the bars relative to before, all of these bars will go how many bars back? What is that? 25 bars. The average green bar in the past 25 bars has not been that significant, neither in its volume or in the magnitude of its size. Right, so that can give you a sense of changed behavior as well. So there's a lot of different factors that go into it. Coming back into 247s. I like the 7/2 as well. What do we do around there? Because as you know, Joe, some of those options prices might play into effect, and every 250 could be a little interesting as well. So I am watching that. 245 never really got there. So 275s. Let's see what we do with that. That's kind of this area of prior structure as well, where we dipped down, caught a bit of a bid, and then held trend once again in that area. So I want to see if we can actually come back there. But as of right now, that bounce is working, and you got a bit of confluence with the rest of the market as well. Bottom wick on the prior 15-minute candle here on the NASDAQ. And I'm watching some of these other things as well. Definitely gathering some momentum. You can see the sustained relative volume bars at the bottom as well. So I like that. Watching USO at the same time here. Pretty aggressive swipe just now, I think, as we speak. Yeah, the prior 1-minute candle right here. Oil updates. I guess we got barrel updates here. Crude up by $5 a barrel ahead of Trump's deadline for the Strait there. So yeah, a little bit of aggressive selling coming in. So yeah, more confluence for the bid potentially coming into the market right here. So, you know, those are the different, I know it's kind of a long-winded answer there. But this definitely looks like news on USO. But let's see. I'm sure Adara will come to us with it if there is anything significant.
There's definitely something that just stepped into the
last
market.
thing I said was that we heard President Trump reportedly saying, you know, they would be willing to extend the deadline. That could potentially be an okay look for USO. I'm not seeing anything else, though, here. Like, the last headline here out of the Middle East, Iran saying that some of the railway lines were damaged in an enemy attack. That's really it. I do think the most recent thing of note that I did mention a couple minutes ago was President Trump reportedly saying here on Fox News that we were going to be, you know, getting potentially an extension. The last headline, though, that just came in, now we're getting Tehran Times saying that diplomatic and indirect channels of talks with Iran and U.S. are not closed. So that could be the headline. This just came in like 10 seconds ago, though. No, why this is significant is because Tehran Times was the first outlet to report that the channels were closed. So now, like 2 hours later, they're saying that these channels are not closed. So interesting update. If I get more updates here, I'll let you know. But yeah, again, same outlet that said Tehran was closing negotiations with the U.S. is now saying that they never closed negotiations with the U.S.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of he said, she said going on right now. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, but what else do you guys really expect? I mean, it's been the same narrative. Yeah. Like it was the exact same thing essentially with tariffs. And I mean, what else are you going to expect from Mr. Donald J. Trump himself? Taco Tuesday.
I mean, opportunity is what we can expect.
Yeah, right? I think the opportunity is there, right?
Some of these like stocks on the day today, like if you got with the trend today, right? Amazing outlier opportunities on something like an Apple. Imagine you had that news in the morning and you were just like, all right, well, if I understand how Apple kind of functions, then you're just like, okay, well, you know, getting short coming in and then even getting short for the continuation. That was kind of, you know, talk about a lack of informational edge on my part where I'm just like, okay, well, Apple's, the only reason Apple came onto my radar was because of how overextended to the downside it was. And, you know, when I did finally check the news after I took some fills, I was just like, all right, cool, it makes sense why, you know, this may not work right away on the day. But even coming in, like I saw some of Sean's trade. He was short the TQs coming into the day as well, right?
Yeah.
And with kind of some of the developments that were happening overnight, did we or did we not, or could we not expect a bit of a bid on USO? Right?
That's what I was thinking.
That's stepping up above prior day's range. And then with that, we know the correlation between the market and U.S. oil that's been happening. You could have also potentially said that the probability of the market giving us a little bit of a selling is maybe, you know, over under 50 and giving that a bit of a thing as well. So
did I mention that I had tacos yesterday?
Tacos?
Yeah.
On
Monday.
That's a day too early, bro.
I know it's a day too early. Listen,
can't be front running the tacos.
Hear me out here though. Hear me out there, Obi. We all love tacos. I never met anybody who's like, yeah, I don't really like tacos all that much. That'd be. Anyways, aside from that, adult life hack. What you do, Obi? I don't know if you've been doing this. So if you have the old El Paso taco kit, What you do is you take the soft shell, right? You got to get that soft and the hard shell, right?
Okay.
So
why not both, right?
Exactly. Why not both? So what you do is you put the sour cream on the soft shell, but then you break the hard shell in half and place it onto the soft shell, and then you put all your toppings and your fixings on top of that, and then you have that taco crunch just like that. You never knew. You never. So every day you learn.
The last time I got tacos was from Gus's, and they do soft tacos.
Gus's soft tacos.
Yeah. But I gotta try that the crunchy taco as well.
Yeah, you gotta.
It seems a little complicated for me, man. I just.
What do you mean complicated? Soft taco, sour cream. Break hard taco in half, put it on the sour cream, then you got the ground beef.
So you're using the hard taco as a topping on the soft taco.
But yeah, it makes it like, when you go to Taco Bell, they have the soft taco, the hard and soft taco implemented together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, man. No sour cream, put chips in his sandwich. No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I was never that guy, man. Plain chips, I do not like whatsoever. Guys, AX, back into these markets. Johnny T, I was looking at HUBC as well. It didn't continue. I was looking at the exact same area. We had that 4-bar play that I thought we'd get a little bit of continuation, but that hasn't been the case here. I'll still be patient on it. We had that aggressive selling in AIXI, now down to 97%. Up here. Anyways, aside from that, Luis, are you trading that? We're going to talk about it tomorrow without any form of questioning. Just looking for things that are moving outside of the market. We had that IBIT trade right here, Assassino, but essentially we take some off and then we get stopped out 50%. Looking for 35. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, took some more off, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Maybe we continue. Why? Because look at the downtrend. So AIXI on my radar, Tesla, this thing has been getting absolutely destroyed. And I think it's really important. I was mentioning this earlier this morning. I think it's really important for us to know, what can we really account for on Tesla's bottom line? No more X, no more S. You have the energy storage and you have the Model 3 and the Model Y. Okay? Like, what else are we going to account for on that bottom line? I may be missing a couple things. Maybe Adara can tune in or something along those lines. But
I mean, you have the Cybertruck, but it doesn't really do anything.
But it doesn't do anything.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the robotics, like, once they get the Optimus, I think Elon Musk really wants that to be the main revenue.
Absolutely, but we can't account for that yet. So it's like, hey, the valuation may not be adding up here on Tesla, and that's why you see this name continuously sliding down to 352, from 352 down to 338. And I was talking about the $230 mark this morning. I'm not saying that we're going to get there anytime soon, but like, let's be realistic here. We know that Elon Musk is extremely optimistic on his timelines. When are we really going to start to be able to account for the robo-taxi and for Optimus? Right? Like, until you start reporting on that, I don't think we can account for, like, it's great to be forward looking, but sometimes we have to look at it for what it is. And right now, Tesla losing market share left, right, and center, and especially in Europe, right? It's just like, the fundamentals of this name aren't the best right now. Do I believe that they can continue to climb? Absolutely. And if we go into autonomous miles, Waymo is drastically outpacing, never mind FSD. Like, if we account for FSD, that's a totally different story. But Waymo is really, really outpacing what Tesla is. The robo-taxi can't even get out of Austin, Texas right now, let alone speaking about going into other states. Like, in Waymo starting in 2027 in Ontario, that's fantastic. Well, where's your permits, Elon? Come on, you got to get things rolling. You got to get the ball rolling, especially for shareholders. And we have a 10-year time period. Time's a ticking. I know it's still away, but if you're going to hit $10 trillion, down is the opposite way in which you want to go. Now, sometimes you have to in order to continue to climb, but Tesla has not been a good performing stock as of late.
No, I think, I mean, here's the thing. I still do strongly believe that the market is still forward-looking, and some of the selling in Tesla could just be coming from tailwind in the markets. You know, like, if you look at the SPY, what's the pullback that we've had so far off of the highs to the most recent low? It's roughly about, just shy of 10%, right? So we're starting to push into that territory as well. Global tensions increasing by the day, or by, even less sometimes, every few hours. Sometimes there's just increasing like that. So yeah, market can definitely take a strong pullback on that. But by the time, everything kind of settles down, the dust settles, the people who are forward looking and already positioned in for those valuations are already in there. Who do you think is, potentially buying a lot of this selling?
Have valid points. It's like, Tesla's one of the purest AI plays. I tend to agree. I'm not disregarding what he has.
He's got the best stack. That's what Jensen said, right? He's got some of the best infrastructure. He definitely is one of the only ones who can afford it.
Tesla's in San Francisco. Is it unmanned? Right? Like, I don't think that's the case.
You're talking about
because they still have that safety driver.
Self-driving.
Yeah,
okay,
they still have the safety driver.
I'm talking about
right?
from an AI perspective in terms of like Grok.
It can be
right?
one of the purest plays. Grok as well too.
Yeah, it's literally one of the best ones, especially you know, of course there's Claude as well that's you know, making a lot of waves right now, but at the end of the day, I'm talking about just from an infrastructure perspective. Elon's got say like Jensen did. He's got the best stack right now. So I don't know. I think when it comes to, you know, forward-looking valuations, there's a lot we can say about what we think the stock's price should be or should not be. At the end of the day, I think the market will usually speak for itself. Adara?
The constant barrage of oil headlines continues. Keep an eye on USO and the market as we get reports from Mayor out in the Middle East saying that the situation in Iran's Karg island is under control and that there was no damage to infrastructure. What they're referring to is an attack that happened, I believe, around 7:30 a.m. Eastern, so a little bit before the show began this morning. Reportedly, U.S. military was striking aspects of Karg that they did not reportedly hit any oil. So just, I guess, clarification, the situation is now under control. And in fact, as we suspected, there's been no damage to infrastructure of oil on Karg Island. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
This is like, Gaurav, look at this. Like, it's like, hey, okay, we go short at the break of the support level at 38.54. Oh, sick. Indecision print climbs higher. It's like, dude, like, come on. Like, when we go whatever direction and the inverted print, but we play the 54 break, and then sure enough, we get down into that 38 level, and now you're starting to climb the volume supporting this move. So let's see. There might not be a short to be continued here in IBIT. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, essentially, but annoyance 101 right there is indecision print as it continues to climb a little bit higher. What did I just do now? Oh my God, platform so much. Aside from that, Obi, what do you got going on here today?
I'm watching this USO right now, man. I'm like, okay, cool. The market's slowly kind of dripping back down. And what has USO shown me since the open, right? So this is what we need to get a little bit better at doing, is just listening to what the chart is telling us and getting with the program. Every time we get these strong dips back in towards VWAP, even with some aggressive selling, maybe some news driven moves as well, VWAP is getting bought up, right? And then again, we have you know, some rising tensions as well. So you know, it does get me a little curious as to what I can and should be doing here in and around VWAP, and you know, giving it some room at the same time as well. So I have my VWAP here on my chart at 142.30s ish. Let's take a look specifically on a couple other platforms as well. So we're just on the same page for that. Right here on USO, I got 142.09s, and you can see once again here that you know, all day long, even strong pushes into and towards VWAP are straight up getting bought right back up. And we kind of talked about how that's been the case over the past couple of days. Any sort of strong flush continues to get bought up. We're breaking out of this week's range so far, or prior week's high as well. As of right now on today, you can see any pullbacks in the pre-market held that 140.75 I was talking about yesterday. And beautifully enough, I was here when I took that scalp off of that 140. Coming into the later half of the day, you got that scalp off of 141s, 140.75s, all the way back down into VWAP, where VWAP was bought up once again. So it seems like it's just very methodical, very clear who is in charge in terms of USO, and it's been the buyers. It's been the buyers for the past couple of weeks, for the past few weeks for sure. You know, bigger picture, it's just buyers who are in charge. They're buying up every dip, any sort of aggressive flush on any sort of a catalyst is getting bought up. So I do have to respect that piece of information that I have been getting. Apple's looking great right now, guys. So shout out to the user who kind of called it out earlier. That was, let's see, who was this? Omen 514. What a great call out there. Pretty much near the bottom of that move. And that's coming in quite nicely. So I was talking a little bit too much. Should have been taking some fills there on literally the break of trend. You can see here that that moving average. We're finally holding well above it. Zoom in a little bit here as well. So every little pullback, boom, 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 getting bought up on the moving average now on Apple. So very straightforward. Straightforward chart on Apple on the day today, and the USO as well. So maybe I kind of want to get involved with a little bit of USO here. Nothing too crazy though. We'll start off with just a fraction of what I want to get into. What is this prior low? I want to measure that off as well. 141 halves. I know it's a pretty far risk, but that's what the chart is kind of telling me where the last set of buyers were. Let's see if that will come into fruition here on the day. On USO, and yeah, VWAP on Apple might be another place as well, because if I am in this bounce on Apple, where am I trying to take it to, right? It's seller dominant on the day. So the next place I want to reassess is going to be VWAP, and now we're almost just about $1.50 away from VWAP. So we're in that zone that I was talking about earlier, the 47 halves, the 7 halves right there. There goes USO. You're working right away, almost instantly, kind of catching a bit of a bid here, but need a little bit more to really come into fruition. Don't know if we're going to get all the way back to 144s. That'd be a little crazy. But if the market continues to fade off, what's up, Fabian? The market continues to fade off, then maybe potentially have a better chance of that occurring. But yeah, you guys let me know, what are you guys trading? What are you guys up to? I would love to know what you guys are looking at on a day like today. So there were a few things in play for me this morning, and oh yeah, we'll talk about that one as well. Intel, I got a little rocked on Intel this morning. Unfortunately, it was, partially, I'd say partially my fault, partially not. This morning, I log in. As soon as I log in, roughly a few minutes later, Intel has some news. I see Intel on my charts making a move, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to get into this. If this is going to continue to slap up, it goes 50 halves, 51s, 51 halves, 52s, 52 halves, 53s, and I see it coming in. I'm like, if it's going to go, I want to go. I want to punch into this, and if it doesn't continue right away, I want to get out. Guess what? I punch in, nothing. Blotter is empty. There's no arrow on the chart. I didn't realize that in the moment, but it shows a pending order, and that's something, there's been a bit of a glitchy mess sometimes on the initial login to the platform where it just doesn't show, your positions don't show up. So I punch in and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get in. I hit my escape because I think my order is still floating in the abyss, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I don't have the position. Later, I realized, okay, well, it was a pending order, so then I refresh my blotter, and then I see that I am still in the position. And I'm like, oh boy, it's $1 down from where I got in from, where I punched in from. So that's a no good. So basically I kind of worked out of it nice and slowly. And I was like, maybe not in the best headspace, because I was like, I didn't even expect that. Not feeling the best. Didn't mean to lose $1 on that coming in right off the open. And then you can see how that mindset carries forward, getting short right here. So it does come all the way back to 53s off of the open. And I'm like, all right, great place to short, get short, risk 20 pennies. Should I be risking 20 pennies? I should be risking to the high, which was more about like 30, 40 pennies. I get stopped out on the 20 penny, stop that I shouldn't even be putting in. I should be putting in the appropriate stop. Boom, slams down $1.50 from there, and I'm like, okay, well, GG's. I don't want to on Intel. Yeah. And this was decent size as well on the 53 back through. But again, when you're not in the right headspace, more often than not, you're not going to be making the best decisions. And in that moment, the decision had to be give it the appropriate stop above the high of day. And this is just as simple as that. And I'm like trying to get cheeky with it. I'm like, no, I'm going to give it arbitrary 20 pennies. Guess what? More than likely than not, you're going to get rocked on that, even though the move is there, the execution is there, but the interpretation of the stop definitely wasn't. But right now, let's check out what's going on in the crypto world with Adara.
You might not have necessarily guessed it if you look at yesterday's daily candle on Bitcoin. Bit of a topping tail move, but apparently yesterday's spot Bitcoin ETFs had their highest daily inflows since February of 2026. So more than 1 month highs here for these inflows. Apparently, they came to a total of $471 million USD on April 6th. So again, that's the largest inflow since February 25th. It's also the 6th largest daily inflow this year, though it gets nowhere near the over 700 million in inflows that we had in January of 2026, so the peak of this year. Bitcoin daily chart, nothing too exciting here. Continuing to make these slight higher highs and higher lows, starting with that base out we had last Sunday. So not this Sunday, but the one before. Again, just a short-term slight uptrend, but in the longer term of things, still very, very, very removed from even like this recent high of 76,000 that we got in the middle of last month. We'll take a look here at Ethereum, which is continuing to look kind of similar here to Bitcoin on the daily chart. How Solana doing? Solana actually, interestingly enough, much further from that, again, that high around mid-March, which should be around 97 halves for Solana, currently trading around 78 eighths, and also near a bit of a, I guess we'll say recent support area of 76. Let's see if we can stay above that level for SOL. But again, these inflows for those spot Bitcoin ETFs, I think certainly something to keep an eye on for the rest of the week. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Patrick, good pointing that out. We're gonna get to that momentarily, but someone asked a very, very interesting question. Obi, is it market related? Absolutely not, because essentially what I was going on with my whole taco idea on how we wrap the soft shell around the hard shell. Well, you can't wrap the hard shell around the soft shell because essentially the objective is to stop the crumbling and the breaking of the hard shell, which it typically does, and then all the ingredients essentially spill out. You see how I have this down to a T? Hey man,
Some good logic there.
Exactly. If you need, if after that in life, I don't know what else you really need aside than figure out how you're going to assemble your future taco kits. Aside from that, Patrick, let's take a look at this, my brother, and see what we got going on the Qs. And you were talking, I'm gonna pull up the strike prices and we're gonna go over some of these strikes right now and see what we got going on. I wanna go to the simple, where are you, Patrick, my boy? Okay, so sold most, but currently they sold most of the 585s. What expiration cycle is that again? I seen that you typed it in the chat. Did you see the open interest? Someone bought 16.Z expiring next Friday. Good, that's all I need to know. Next Friday is going to be the 17th. And let's take a look at some of this open interest as we're talking about through the 580 levels. So you said 585 down to 565. We have a bunch of size here, and let's take a look at what we got going on. 580, 32,000, expiring April 17th. Good call out there. Could be a potential base. 588. Look at this, Patrick. 75. Those are all. These are cash money right now. $7 ITM on those ones, and then all the way through to 65. So there's a supply zone at 70, a supply zone at 65, and then even if you head to the 60s, a little bit more. I think we want to take a look at that next potential level. How has the overall market? How has the Nasdaq reacted around this 580 mark? Let's pull up the TQs here and see where our low of the day was. If it's anywhere around 580, I'm shutting the stream down. 578.57, and then we're starting to find a little bit of a rebound right now, guys. So great call out there, Patrick. This is why we look at this stuff, and I'm glad all the options individuals do the exact same thing. I love having these conversations. We can go over to the other side as well too, but what we've seen here on the put side might have a little bit more size. Where was that massive one? 75K. That's going to be the largest on this expiration cycle. That's insane. 75,000, and you don't typically see that. 588. Those are cash money right now. Times that by 100. Okay, that's a substantial amount of size right here, and you're not generating new ones. These are ones coming straight from the market. So 588, approximately $7 ITM OB, looking pretty good for those ones. And then nice call out on the congestion zones of all these other strike prices with the open interest, 32,000. Potential base that we can find here on the Nasdaq. Look for a rebound, which we're already seeing. If we bounce off it multiple occasions, maybe we can start rocking and rolling. Or are we gonna get the, oh wow, I'm thinking about reloading and heading right back into this IBIT trade, but as I was rambling on there, shout out, is it Led Zeppelin that sings Ramble On? Anyways, aside from that, 62s, boom, flush to the downside. If I got in right at the volume weighted average price, I'd just give myself a little bit of room. If I'm wrong, then so be it. We get out when we're supposed to, but looking for the continuation, not the cleanest double top, but it looks like we might curl over here on IBIT. With that being said, let's be patient. Let a little more data establish itself. We get a better read, and then maybe we can take a potential short here on IBIT, Obi.
Yeah, it seems like the market is kind of a little bit of a struggle there on the bid. We did attempt to bounce a little bit. We are bouncing a little bit off of this 24,000 clean. We went all the way down to 23,950s, just shy of that, and then a nice little bounce. But you can see lower highs, lower lows. And yeah, I think definitely, I think that's a good look there on your
short
IBIT.
continuation.
I mean, the market's looking weak right now as well, right? I don't know what Bitcoin is really doing. I would definitely be watching Bitcoin as well as IBIT. The underlying asset is straight up Bitcoin, but. Yeah, a little bit of weakness here. Got USO still chopping around its VWAP. So nothing too crazy. Haven't really added onto this one. Don't necessarily want to do that unless and until I see some aggressive, distinctly different action on top of this VWAP right now. But yeah, just taking a quick stab at it as it continues to pull back a little bit. But yeah, this bottom wick from earlier might be that's where I'm looking at a potential risk limit for what I have right now. If I start adding to this, I definitely have to pull that up. I can't be risking all the way down here with technically full size or the size that I really want. But sometimes, it's very market dependent, right? It's like what's a trade that you're taking? It really doesn't matter. Like the market doesn't care about what size you're punching into a position, right? If I'm getting in here and I'm risking to here, and I feel like on the day I want to give it 2 or 3 risk units, that determines my size, not what I arbitrarily think I should be getting into here as well. Apple's still holding that to 247, 70s, 50s level as of right now. Can't really get back above 248s, but a decent bounce off of the lows here, Joe. 246s all the way to 248. So if you did take that quick little bounce while I was literally talking about it, on the trend break right here at 246 halves, you got roughly a bit of a dollar there on that bounce so far, but. Again, aggressively sold off, negative catalyst back to back on the day. It would make sense if it's struggling to bounce, right? That's all I'm going to say about that one there. We were also looking at a few other Mag 7s that are aggressively sold off on the day here. Not all of them, but definitely a few of them. And Tesla is one of them. Today is what we were talking about a day 2 yesterday, day 3. Coming in on the day today with more sellers on board since deliveries. So day 3 of straight up selling. Again, you want to call it because of deliveries, because of the market, because of whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are much smarter than I am who can figure out why people are potentially selling. But at the end of the day, it's been selling. I think that's very, very clear. You can see that tight consolidation in the pre-market. That breaks down. VWAP can't even get through. Opening range lows, retest, can't even get through. That's at 340, just shy of 345s, 344.70s-ish, and then that continues to break down as well. So catching a bit of a sideways action since about 11 o'clock here, 11:10s on Tesla with a hold of maybe 338s, but watching this one pretty closely right now as well. It seems like Apple might actually be trying to do its 3rd green 15-minute bar. So this is what I was talking about. Bit of distinct difference here. Take a look how clean this is, right? Boom, 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 boom. Prior bar break right there. 246.91, confluence with the trend break, confluence with holding the moving average here. I don't know what happened to the moving average there. Oh yeah, the screen, the chart crashed earlier. That's why that moving average is gone now. But you guys saw what I was looking at there. So on multiple different indicators, the trend has changed on Apple. So let's see if it can actually get back up to VWAP, if it can get back up to 250 off of that bit of a bounce here, Joe.
Tough, man. All right, IBIT down 2 1/3 here today, guys. We got our eyes on this one. Taylor was asking me a little bit about AIXI. I don't know if we're holding up, right? This is looking pretty bearish if you ask me. It's not Wednesday. We could ask Louise about it, but I think that at this pace, right, continuous lower highs, I think at some point we're going to break through that support level. I mean, anything can happen with these names. Do I follow them that often? I don't. So I'm just going to be looking for the most bullish patterns I can potentially find. And the way that it's looking right now is not too good. Mike D, thank you for that $1 super chat. I mean, by all means, I know you didn't say anything behind it, but just type it in the chat. We'll be sure to go over whatever you request there. There goes Bitcoin, continues to slide a volatility spike up into 61. That might have been my green light to go, but we'll sit on our hands a little bit here and be patient, considering we had that AIXI trade earlier this morning. We got a little bit of a short play on IBIT right now, so let's see if we can get that re-engagement. If we fail, so we'll let some data collect, right? So we'll let some candles print, and essentially if we fail to construct a new high and we start to form a topping base like a resistance zone, then that could be our green light to go there. Man, can you look at SPY? It needs to go. I need it to go. Netflix, I have the 100 call expiring 410, so on Friday. CVX call 202 expiring this Friday, and Intech 410. A lot of this Friday expiration, we can take a look. Liam, this is what we're talking about, right? Like, we go over this quite often. It's just buy the time, essentially. And in this market, what is the rebound that we can get? I mean, I think that's an important thing to ask ourselves. It may not be that drastic right now, and I think that's important to note. I don't want to rain on the parade or anything, but we just want to tell you as straight as possible. Like, does this look like we're going to have a sustained bounce? Maybe, right? Like, if we're going to look at this from an optimistic standpoint, it's like, hey, we bounce off of that 631, we come back. Maybe, considering the volume is essentially pretty low right here, we get a little pullback and then off to the races we can go. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case, especially with this war not coming to any form of conclusion anytime soon, right? So we have to be patient. I think that's what the market may be waiting for. Also, don't forget, we're heading into earnings soon. Next week, JPM's going to start reporting. The big banks are going to start reporting. The following weeks, you have big tech names that are going to start reporting. So that will help us find a little bit more orderly type price action, which I think is really important, and we can get some solid trading based off of that. Adara.
Interesting news here from Lyft with regards to Waymo. Lyft CEO David Risher announcing on social media a couple minutes ago that Lyft is going to be part of Waymo's rollout. Basically, Waymo is welcoming its first public drivers in its autonomous service in Nashville. And later in 2026, Lyft riders in Nashville will be able to match with a Waymo car through the Lyft app. So again, this has not been announced to my knowledge from Lyft proper. And David Risch, CEO of Lyft, quoted a Waymo post in this, but Waymo in their post, they don't even mention Lyft. So as of right now, the only confirmation we're really getting of this is from the CEO himself. But either way here, Lyft CEO David Risher indicating that Waymo is going to be partnered up here with the company LYFT and potentially here UBER going to be on watch. Also, I'm seeing reports from Borna news agency. Air defenses are reportedly activated over Tehran with fighter planes flying on low altitude over the city. So seems like there is some kind of military action once again, unfortunately, in the Middle East.
Good stuff. Yeah, so that's what we got going on here, guys. We're waiting. It started to sell a little bit here. Nice indecision print on AIXI with the volume south of a key support level. Okay, so if it breaks that 37 mark, you can just get out of dodge on that one. One more pullback. If we can get 60s, then I like it. I can risk all the way up to 70s. Good risk to reward in my books there, 10 cents. We get involved there. We wait for that 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1 at 45s, and if we're fortunate enough to get a new low of the day, then off to the races we go. Obi, got my eyes on AIXI and Bitcoin right now.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I'm just looking at a few other stocks here that were potentially in play this morning. I did pull up that lift on that news that Adara just reported. Okay, a little bit of volume spike that took us through the opening range highs there, but no real follow through happening right now. But a couple other places where no real follow through happened, and that was in some of the healthcare stocks here. So we had the news this morning, or I guess last night after the close. CVS, there's a few of them. CVS, Humana, and UNH all gapping up in the after hours. but no follow through coming in off of the open. So I guess if you kind of were like, yeah, I don't really trust this bid, you definitely had the right idea, because sellers step in pretty aggressively coming into the open, and on some of these names, even front running the open with a flush of just that one candle is about down about 1.7% here. The 927 3-minute candle on CVS. So that was a great short there, but recovering a decent chunk of that. I was looking at this as a potential reversion here. This was nice as well, but some of the other names in this sector not really reverting as aggressive as CVS. We can take a look at Humana. Humana still slowly trickling its way all the way back up towards VWAP as well, but similar story here. Strong push overnight or right after the close yesterday from 182s, 184s all the way to 207 highs coming into the day. Strong sellers all the way from I guess off of the open. This one not really as strongly front run coming into the open, but you can see opening range lows, pretty aggressive selling as well on the day. And then UNH, let's take a look at this one here. UNH, this one did probably better than the rest of them here. Strong bid all the way from 280s to 313 highs, and then coming in off of the open there. Got a little bit of a bid, but sellers still do step in, but it's been holding above VWAP longer than the rest of them as of right now. So do I have eyes on this? Maybe, sometimes things just take time to digest. Sometimes the price, it'll find a place where it's a little bit more accepted. It might be too aggressive on that initial move there as well. But decent reversion on some of these. Humana and CVS looking a little bit better. CVS almost back at its day highs, Darren.
Some mild Middle East headlines here. I mentioned this one pretty much only because of its connection with the Strait of Hormuz, but as of a couple of minutes ago, started seeing headlines pouring in. Bahrain, I guess, had a draft resolution that they put in front of the UN Security Council with regards to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. That resolution has been rejected at the UN Security Council, both Russia and China using their veto power. So long story short, Bahrain tried to have this resolution to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened, did not succeed. Strait of Hormuz does, as we know, remain closed ahead of that 8 p.m. deadline from President Trump.
Yeah, interesting about the 8 p.m. That's when markets kind of close. I don't even know what to call it anymore. The New York session. But then, then the overnight session starts right there. Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be up for that to see what happens there. Again, it's the markets. There's a lot of crazy volatility that's happening here in these markets on every single one of these headlines. So I do want to kind of even if I'm not exercising those opportunities to the best of my abilities, I definitely want to be there, because in the long run, that's still reps, that's still meaningful participation, and a great learning experience, if nothing else, right? So market always teaching us some of the best lessons, for a lot of things. But Intel here, sideways consolidation. So we had that SpaceX news this morning on Intel that I was talking about earlier, but sideways chop. It's holding up that $50 level that we saw from yesterday, getting sold off pretty aggressively. So 51.50s, you can see this off of the open, a little bit of chop, but sold off for a majority of the day. Bouncing off that 50, that was quite nice as well, coming into the end of the day. But today holding up pretty decently above roughly in the top end of that range, orbiting VWAP as of right now. So hasn't really been able to get past this 52.50 as of recent. I guess the most recent test up into that 52.50 area, but pulls right back as well. And again, I don't think it really helps that the market is sold off today, seller dominant on the day today, but we can take a look at SMH here, the semiconductor ETF, to see how our friends in the sector are doing. SMH all day long, VWAP holding well below it. NVIDIA here, similar story, holding well below VWAP. On multiple tests, just continues to get sold off. And even on this bounce, maybe this was the bounce. This was a reversion to be had here with the market catching a little bit of a turn off that 24,000 for a reversion back to VWAP. You can see aggressive buying, kind of breaking through some of those prior support resistance levels intraday for a pullback in towards VWAP. Let's take a look at our friend AMD here. Similar story, man. VWAP sellers are well in charge on a lot of these names. So sometimes you just gotta listen to what this market is telling you. I think ARM had a bit of news this morning. Yeah, so
we got a downgrade this morning, is what happened, I believe, from JP Morgan, but price target increased to 150.
Okay, all right, thank you. So a bit of a downgrade and a price target increase came up on my radar because it was doing some relative volume this morning, 3 to 4 times relative volume in the pre-market. So I was like, okay, ARM might have a bit of opportunity here, but selling off into and off of the open. So holding trend into the open session there and holding this 138 level, now finally making it back towards VWAP. There's a bit of a bounce there on the market.
Spike in the market.
So yeah, there you go. So that I got stopped out of my USO. I was risking to that 41.5, and yeah, okay, a little bit of a spike down. So pretty sure that's a bit news driven here with the volatility, and the look at the volume that's coming in, strong volume signatures as well. So that could be something to watch out for. 140s, went to 140 halves there on the flush down. Interestingly enough, I have these support and resistance levels on USO from the prior few days. Guess what? This thing respects levels technically well, and I even drew in a bit of this trend line here as well. So interesting enough that the strong volume and the flush and maybe some news comes out right on the break of this trend. You got to remember, some of the volume, some of the dollar volume that's done not on USO, forget about USO, on crude oil futures is absolutely ridiculous. And when there's a lot of money moving around, definitely, you could be watching some of these key levels here and the news at the same time. A lot of confluence is what I'm trying to say at some key levels of everything coming together there. So let's see if we hold this prior resistance now, potentially turn support as of this pre-market session. Once again, on a ping of this level where price flushes down with volatility, instantly soaked up once again, right? Absorption, to say the least, in and around this area all day long. We saw it happening in the pre-market a little bit more, and then once again, just now into that 140. I have it at 140.75, 140 halves, whatever you want to call it, that rough area of support. Now the question becomes, is it going to hold, right? Is it going to hold? Tensions are still rising, in my opinion, and he even continues to say that, yeah, 8 p.m. is going to happen. So we could very well see that 150 on USO.
He might push it back as well too. So we
he said a lot of things. But
where's Fabian? We need the taco. We need to get a tacos animation out here. That's it. All right, guys. I mean, we talked about that volatility spike coming right back in, inverted right at the volume-weighted average price on the NASDAQ here, ladies and gents. Also on the SPY, right at the volume-weighted average price. We had that bounce off of AIXI, and then also Bitcoin inverted right there. So this might be a green light for us to maybe rock and roll. We're at 62s. We wanted 60s before, somewhat of a double top. That means we can give it all the way to 72, 10 cents on this bad boy. So let's I mean, you got to take the stabs, right? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Let's get involved here on some IBIT to see if we're going to get somewhat of a breakdown. Double top up there. I like it as the market is slowly starting to come back in. This is what I want to see, an inverted hammer candle right at key levels, and that's going to be at the volume-weighted average price. Yeah, we are consolidated right at VWAP right now. Qs, what's the next move down, up or down? Best guess. I mean, hey, man, you don't want to listen to me. That's for sure. We got to make our own decisions. Down. I don't know. Like, is the market exhausted yet? Like, don't forget we've been selling for quite some time, and we have to take that into consideration. Where are we? The market will get somewhat of a balance. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 red days are 4 green days in a row. Starting to sell a little bit, and then we get somewhat of a rebound, down 9% off of the highs. So let's see what this market is going to get up to.
Halfway to a bear market. You know,
I mean,
pull the measurement all the way down to that low
that's not 20%. It's like 12.
No, I know 12. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're roughly halfway
at that low.
there.
Yeah, I mean, but if you go across the Meg 7, so many of them have already hit bear market territory.
Exactly.
And I was surprised by that, right? Like, it's like, who do we have holding this up? It's essentially the energy sector and the oil trade that's holding up the market. How was the Qs not down a little bit more? Like, how deep are we gonna have to go into the holdings of this thing to realize, like, hey, like, this is holding it up? You have every single Mag 7 name, with the exception of Apple, at one point was down 20%. So it's just like, whoa, what's going on? But that's a positive sign, right? You have to go deep in the books. And if you head into the cybersecurity side of things, you have Zscaler down 57% at its lows. PANW was taken behind the woodshed, and so was CrowdStrike. So things weren't really looking that good, but yet the market held up pretty good, relatively well. And I believe that by the end of all of this noise, and when things come to a conclusion, it may take significantly longer than what we're anticipating. But at the end of the day, once it is, maybe that's going to lift a massive weight off of the overall market shoulders in some of these tech names. Also, we have earnings as well, too, that are going to start cooking up relatively soon. Speaking of, I mean, it's almost noon. Let's see if I can squeeze this in before we send it over to everyone else. Let's see what we got going on here this week. Assassino, did you say anything in my ear there, brother? Ooh, look at a new update here on TT there. Let's pull this up, calendar. We don't want this week, Obi. Let's head over to next week. Can we even go over to next week? No, unfortunately not. We'll have to go over to a different platform. But aside from that, earnings, man.
Yeah, we're starting up again.
Yeah, we can
There's
start
usually
up
like a 2-week break, roughly.
No IPOs.
In between.
2 weeks, a little bit longer than that, a couple weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, roughly.
Wednesday, we have Delta. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, Delta Airlines.
We're already kind of getting into it, right? It never really totally goes away. You still have some companies that still report in between, but when it comes to some of the larger caps, it takes a bit of a break there. You really want to call it that, but it's earnings season. It's a funny thing we used to say on the floor is like, earnings season never really ends. Depending on what your strategies are and how you trade, you may always find something. Like, for example, if Delta does something tomorrow, then that could very much be in play. It will be in play on earnings. But for sure, something to watch out for. But not as much. It's very sparse. Some of those.
The liquidity on them aren't usually that good.
Yeah,
on some of the other other names.
It's very report dependent. But without any further ado, you guys know what time it is. It's 12 o'clock. So we'll be right back. But we got Neil's lesson of the day. There.
Geopolitical headlines galore today. If it's not Iran, which we'll get to in a second, it's also China, ? We did have U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer come on to an interview today, I think around 11 a.m., saying that we've got a stable U.S. economic relationship with China and teasing out that meeting between President Xi of China and U.S. President Trump mid-next month. Now, speaking of Trump, we do have to talk about the Truth Social post heard around the world. This post came out around 8 a.m., so roughly 12 hours before that 8 p.m. deadline for the Strait of Hormuz to be reopened. President Trump is saying that he'd like to see positive things happen, but if they don't happen, there could be, quote, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world, by which he means the striking of Iran's power plants. USO now pushing quite a bit lower, but initially nice start today. We had a pop here again around 9:30 and then even more so at 11 as we started to get some outlets reporting that the U.S. and Iran were no longer in any negotiations. Then we had the Tehran Times basically redact their report saying that actually, in fact, Iran is negotiating with the U.S. So really mixed look here. Right now, USO pushing near lows. I do want to give you guys a bit of a highlight. We talked about Delta reporting tomorrow before the bell, but Levi Strauss reporting today after the bell. I have infographics on Levi. These are already out on Exit TTV Research, but Delta, that's going to be coming out pretty soon as we await tomorrow's report. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We're going to send you over to Neil's lesson of the day. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get you guys an oil headline before we do that. So get ready and place your bets on what Neil's lesson of the day might be. I am not seeing anything here with regards to this drop, though. Apparently, one thing, again, we're already seeing that Trump telling Fox News that based on progress in negotiations, he might extend the deadline to escalate in Iran. Could be the reason for the oil drop, but we were already aware of that news. If I see a better oil headline, I'll put it in the chat here for you guys. But in the meantime, there's no time to waste. Neil has a lesson. Neil, lesson. What is it?
Well, I mean, the lesson's about relative strength, but apparently you don't need it anymore because look at what just happened in the Qs, that big turnaround that we just had. Well, you know, you can't really predict it's difficult to predict what's going to happen in this market from headline to headline, from oil move to oil move, to turnarounds and V-shaped recovery. But obviously, if you bought the dip on anything, it's now looking good. But if we're talking about brass tacks, early on, buying the dips was a good way to have gotten wrecked this morning. One way you can stack the deck in your favor, at least when you're looking for buying in a down move like this, is if you look at the futures and you get a couple of litmus points, like just after 10 o'clock, we made a big bounce on the futures to be able to get back to VWAP. And then you look back at 11 o'clock and you're making a fresh low. Or you can just look at when you're breaking that low right here at 11 o'clock. The low was made a couple of minutes later. This is a crucial point, right? Like we've already made one bottom and had a good bounce. When the second one is happening, if you're looking for relative strength, this should be an easy thing to say, but I think sometimes it gets lost. And when the market's doing that, have a look. And other stocks, other things like UNH, there's 10 o'clock, it makes its low. You check back in, what's happening at 11 o'clock as we come in? Oh, look at that. It's holding higher lows. It's holding above VWAP. It's found a support level that it's basically pressing into. So if the market bounces, you've got a strong name which is doing its own thing, which is already putting in higher lows. This way, if you get that market rally that you're hoping for, if you're going long or you're just bouncing in general, you've identified something which is holding support when the market is at its base. That way, if the Qs or whatever, the SPY, the same thing, it is like you look at either chart, I can pull up the SPY for you and it's the same thing. When it makes the fresh low, you have you've got some leeway of support on the stronger name, and B, it's already shown you that relative strength. A better example, UNH, you could give the caveat, and lots of people would say, but yeah, Neil, UNH has its own news, it's got its own story, that doesn't count. Fair enough. Well, then how about Palantir? At 10 o'clock, there's the market low. What's happening at 11 o'clock? At 11 o'clock, right here, it's pressing VWAP when the market is repressing into the low of the day. So when the market breaks the low of the day, it has a chance to hold a higher low support, and the rest is history. Now, when you get long is up to your execution strategies. Some people like it above VWAP, it reclaims. You get this little breakout here, so you're maybe taking this little pullback, this little long entry, or maybe you're just, your jam is to just play the long off the support level. Whatever. Or if you like trend breaks, and I wish I was looking at this, you could say, well, there's some lower highs in here. It breaks the trend there. That still leads you to this long there. But the more important thing is, if you just simply say, okay, well, I'm going to buy anything off of the bottom. Like with Apple, you'd be guessing at those lows. At 10 o'clock when it makes the bottom, the futures make that first bottom, like Apple's doing what? Like trying to hold, breaks down. Okay, well, is that level any good? Who knows? By the time 11 o'clock hits, you're literally at the low of the day. So you're just kind of praying, like you're at fresh lows in the SPY. You're doing guesswork. You're hoping it's going to work. Now, we happen to make a bottom in there. Great. Fantastic. If you're that good, then congratulations to you. Or as I said, you can stack the deck in your favor with some relative strength. And I get it, the Apple reversion is going to look so good. And maybe UNH didn't go the farthest percentage-wise, or maybe you found something that was a better bounce play than Palantir. But what you won't have in your favor in those situations is a little bit of protection that it was relatively strong. When you think about a trade, it's not just the potential upside. You've got to consider the downside, which if you're going with the trend, sometimes gives you a more defined out. If you know it breaks this, you're like, okay, that's no good. It's going to try and retrace the lows. The market's going down. You want something that A, gives you the confidence to hold, because you're not just catching the falling knife. B, has something distinct about it, which is reinforcing that long, the higher lows in conjunction. And C, has that bit of wiggle room. when you just if you just try the long on, say, Apple or something else that is weak, you don't really have that wiggle room. Like, you're just constantly with this, I'm trying it off the low, and if it breaks the low, I'm going to be out. That's not always the easiest way to go. I get it. It's incredibly satisfying if you happen to catch it. But as the market is squashing like that, give me something where you're catching the bid that if the market does not hold the low or takes a while to hold the low, you're buying a higher low. You're buying something which is trying to continue an uptrend because it's already bounced before the market. Obviously, that's not going to be the easiest thing to do, but there's a reason why people say cash is a position. You're allowed to make one trade, sit on your hands, and wait for the next opportunity. Not everybody loves to do that. There's a cost to that. If you trade that way, you're not always just sitting there holding everything forever. You're not in every single trade. But what you will find yourself hopefully in is more consistent trading, where you don't have to fight things. Where if the market decides to reverse its trend, you're already in something which has shown that relative strength or that relative weakness. So it's not an overly complex notion, finding that relative strength or weakness, but when you have these big wipeouts in the market, take note. Okay, well, where was stock X when we bounced here? When we get back to the low, where is that same stock X? Is it making those higher lows that I want to see? If so, then when we turn, I like that one a little bit better. Therefore, you don't need this crazy news to have happened to go all the way in the SPY if you took Palantir. Because before that even occurred, you were just good. Whoops, that's Blue Ocean. Hey, Blue Ocean should be interesting tonight, everybody. Yeah, my guess is it will be. But you didn't need that to happen. You were already good. You were already back to morning highs before we even had that crazy spike. So you didn't need the luck. You just had to find some relative strength, and then there you go. It's not an easy deal to trade. Oftentimes, we want to try to pick that bottom. It's an incredibly satisfying trade if you happen to catch it. But it's also the kind of trade that tends to rinse people out. If you can identify relative strength, then you don't have to have the low. You can be long off the lows, chilling out in something which is a little bit stronger. I'd give you a note on how the chili is, but I haven't opened it up. So this is I can't grade it. I can just show you that doesn't seem like a lot of chili relative to the amount of rice I'm getting. We got I don't know, the salad looks okay. But it looks like the volume's going to be a little bit lacking on this quote-unquote chili. Good luck. The market's back at VWAP, so looks like the disaster 2% day isn't happening after all. Who knew?
Almost got there, but yeah, got saved once again.
Save the day. Yeah, I mean, you stopped us out as well too. So I mean, this conflict, it's like, all right, we're thinking about going short here, guys. And then sure enough, we take that 10-cent stop out. We were looking for 50s. We're fortunate enough to get it. Didn't re-engage up here. That's all right. One more pullback. Volatility spike to the top side, and that's something you have to be prepared for in this market, right? So unfortunate there. We get stopped out 50% right here. And we're going to try one more time. A majority of your Apple long there. Nice score. Did you get a spike up with that? What is the AIXI up to? Not too much. Starting to consolidate. Maybe this is a little bit of an accumulation before we take another leg up. These things take some time, right? As they consolidating. And as you get later into the session, then by all means, it may take significantly longer than what we are anticipating. AIXI. Let's pull this up here for the folks back home. Nice little pop up and bounce off a VWAP. That's what I was looking at, $1.40 right there, and then you get that move up into just a little bit under $1.60. Now we're not doing too much. Just be cautious because we do essentially have lower highs being established. Anything can happen at this point, right? So if we want to look at the larger structure, it's just up here. Now we've established this. If we continuously knock on this door and sell off, then maybe you have to wait. What I was essentially waiting for is anything south of VWAP. If this print was south of VWAP, then that's a major green light, and then you look to execute on that one. But right now, I'm focused on Bitcoin. Let's see if we can get that rock and roll into the downside. Buying pressure relatively weak on this. As we get an uptick here in AIXI, are we going to reject? What is the tape telling us? Some strong movement here and a bunch of size coming in at 51, and it's right at the ask as well. So not too bad of a look. And it's the Oppo here for IBIT. This is the IBIT tape. Look at that, some right at the bid here, guys. Boom, boom, moving a little bit lower as we're printing 59s now on IBIT. So, yeah, I mean, sit on our hands for a little bit, wait for a high-quality opportunity and re-engagement. Is the market going to recover here today? It's almost a V-shape, and we talked about this pattern here on multiple occasions: consolidation, breakdown, V-shape, a little bit of a consolidation there. You don't want to force it. And then now we're starting to move a little bit higher with volume starting to step in. So just be careful and be aware of the chop and headline sensitivity within the market. Smaller size, wider stops, Obi.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, Apple, beautiful reversion on Apple there. Got back to VWAP along with the rest of the markets at the same times. But, you know, I got a little bit involved here on the initial slowdown there. Instantly, you know, came in about, what, down into 70s. So about 30, 40 pennies, but stepping right back in. So if buyers are here now, I'm more than willing to be a little bit wrong on this one. And had to get long down here when the trend actually broke on this one. And then we get news, and that gives us the follow through. And you know, the price was already kind of telling before that. But USO getting bid right back up as well. 140s holding quite well. 140 halves pulling right back into 141 halves. VWAP's just above that 142 on this one. So going to continue watching this one as well as, you know, it's stepping right back up off of an area where I'm just like, okay, cool. Bit of a support zone from prior days, or resistance zone turning into support. Here, same area from where we found some buyers stepping in the pre-market. So sure, we kind of violated a little bit lower. 139.60s is the low there, but then stepping right back in with a bit of a correction here on that aggressive volatility on USO. So sure, before I said that, yeah, VWAP has been bought all day long, and that was the whole point of me getting in a little bit here. But again, bigger picture, every aggressive dip into you know, pre-market structure, or prior day structure, or whatever other structures you can find has been getting aggressively bought up, and we're seeing another instance of that, right? Definitely wrong risking up to here, getting stopped out, but then being patient, waiting for the buyers to step back in, and then getting involved when they actually are is the next trade, and that's happening here off of that 140 level on USO. So we'll wait and see if the market can give us a little bit of more information as well. Can break a trend, pulling back up in a trend, holding VWAP all day long. Does that change? That's the next question that I'm asking at the same time. See what you guys are talking about in the chat here. MAXN, why Maxion Solar? Oh, okay, yeah, more space, I guess, stocks here. Doing some volume. I guess they had earnings this morning as well. But yeah, volume stepping in now on MAXN. Yeah, I guess space stocks are moving around as well. I know that SIDU has been having some volume, and a lot of people have been trading that as well. Yeah, back above $4 on this one as it's kind of stair steps back up towards its prior levels and testing some of those areas as well now. So yeah, I have close eyes on these ones as well, as you know, it can give another potential opportunity for the backside move when it's done, because these are repeat offenders. Whenever they're done doing their multi-day bid, maybe they get a bit of exhaustion, get a bit of a blow off top. Almost always do they come right back in. DXYZ, let's see how our friend Destiny Tech is doing. These guys actually hold some SpaceX private shares. So nothing too crazy. I guess we had a bit of a run up earlier this week on the news that the IPO is happening. There you go. So look at that relative volume here. Yeah, this was last week on Wednesday. Absolutely crazy. Chop, 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 chop. But we haven't really gone back up to those levels here. 35.52s were those highs, and we're currently trading at 27.07. So a bit of a muted move here on DXYZ. We might just have to wait for the IPO itself to get some good opportunity on this whole idea. Also AGPU, Taylor in the chat messaging, yes sir, AGPU, Axe Compute, let's see. Okay, wow, this is a small cap we should be looking at today, Joe, because once again, another leg to the upside post earnings on AGPU. So we held that $4, couple days of consolidation, and today we got some halt ups and maybe a couple halt downs as well on AGPU, holding VWAP as well going into the middle of the week. So good look there, Taylor. We'll keep eyes on this one as well. Holding reclaim of that $5. I like that. That's very interesting to me. Let's see if it can sustain a hold above $5 and continue to give us some moves to the upside. But haven't really gotten involved in this one. Have you thought about getting involved? So I know you're looking at this AIXI, but there's definitely a few small cap gappers.
AGPU.
AGPU, yeah.
Look at AGPU.
Yeah.
I know you're just going over it. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad there. It'll be 5
looking decent
on that one.
Yeah.
Some nice indecision prints around those lows. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks, Fabian. I was wondering where that was for the old knee there. All right, $1.54. Break up this candle right there. Now we're on the backside of this trend. Volume really starting to pick up here in AIXI. We don't want to get caught in any form of a fake out, so we do need that volume supporting it. The tape will give us a little bit of confirmation, but that's a nice move. Are we prepared to make a next leg higher here in AIXI? Trend line still holding up pretty well there, OB, so not too bad of a look whatsoever. Any form of a pullback or a breath, maybe we can look to engage, and we can have a pretty good stop on this one, 40 cents. Size down a little bit, give us some room just in case it is a complete fake out. Would like to see a little bit more volume. That is pretty good, but maybe a little bit more. But hey, you got to take you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, as I just mentioned not too long ago. So let's get prepared to get involved in this one here. We're going to cut our size in half, to be frank, and then we're going to be able to give it a little bit more room as the tape is really starting to pick up momentum, and that's kind of what we want to see. That's some signs of strength. We're holding through that structure. We get a little bit of a dip lower, and then sure enough, we're now on the backside of this trend. Let's rock and roll here. I like that clean flush. We're in at 53s. Oh, they give us 54s as AIXI really starting to pick some steam up. There we go, a nice little pop there, Obi. We cut the size in half though. That's all right. We'll take it for what it is. Let's see if we can head towards the high of the day. 94% momentum starting to pick up. Are you guys involved in AIXI? Bitcoin not really doing what I want it to do at this point. Let's see if we can wait for a little bit of an extended move. Best case scenario, let's get caught in an uphold here. Adara?
Yeah, I mean, I never really found anything, guys, just to give a bit of an update, concrete on that big spike and decent recovery here in USO. We'll get that move to the downside around 12, and then we kind of push back higher. Didn't see anything on that, but I do have a new headline coming out of Iran I want to let you guys know. Reportedly, according to Press TV, so that'd be more state media here in Iran, the commander of the IRGC, or the Iranian military, declaring that there's going to be a new phase, quote unquote, of reprisal attacks against their aggressors. So keep an eye on that. I also want to mention, this is just kind of, I think, a really interesting headline that I think probably a lot of people are going to be interested in. Here, I have to shout out Lux Algo, which is an account on X for this one. So basically, they pointed out that as of this morning, this was announced around 8:40 today, a ticker was changed today quite significantly. Total Capital, I guess, has an ETF for SPACs and new issues. This ETF used to be under the ticker SPCX on the NASDAQ. Now it's SPCK. People are wondering why the ticker would change unless SpaceX is trying to go for SPCX for their ticker. So again, this is super speculative, but either way, we could potentially have the ticker for SpaceX, and it could be SPCX. Super speculative as of now. If I get more updates, I'll let you know. But I wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty cool.
All right.
Thank you. SPCK. That's going to be interesting there. So we have a potential stock name for our SpaceX IPO here. Pretty solid, man. You're getting a poll going. What's the question? What's the question?
How many more volatility spikes today? Put it in the chat. We got 1, 2, 3, or 4 plus. What are you thinking there, Obi? How many more volatility spikes we going to get on today's session? I'm going to go with 2. I think 2 is a solid one. Get those votes in the chat. Type 1, 2, 3, or 4. We got 4. We got a lot of 4s. Maybe we have to actually track this to see how many more volatility spikes we got. I'm going. Maybe the median is 3. I'm going to go 3. Obi, did you put yours in the chat? See,
I said around like 6 or 7.
6 or oh. 6, 7. Around 6 or 7.
50s on
see ya, Adara. Make sure you guys Get those OCs. She's indulging in the lunch. We'll get Sia's rating on the lunch momentarily as well. But other than that, guys, AIXI starting to come back in a little bit. We don't like that. We want to see some more continuation. But get those votes in there. 4+ leading the way. What a money printing day, says Los Pollos. Love to hear that, man. We'll hit the for you, and then it's also a storm for our boy Los Pollos. Hermanos. But there it is, guys. If it comes back and breaks this trend line, I'll just get out of AIXI. I'm glad that we only went half size on this one. We had that momentum spike. 50s would have been more ideal, but if we can continue the strength with on the tape, then we're going to rock and roll. A lot of 2s, 4s coming into play. 4+ volatility spikes before the end of the session. I think that's pretty high, but anything can happen. How many of you?
We already just got one.
We've had one.
One right now.
One right now
is happening, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're getting one right now, Obi.
Yes, sir.
Wow, okay, we're getting one right now.
I got stopped out of that Apple on that spike just now.
How many more? I mean, we had 2 already today. 3 maybe already today.
Yeah, at
so
least
can we have 7 volatility spikes?
Around 6, 7.
Around 6, 7.
I called it already, bro.
A lot of volatility spikes.
I guess we can't do 6 or 5. Can we add some more?
You want, but 4+.
4+, exactly. Okay.
4+,
Yeah,
4+ is up there at that 4 spot. So curious what everyone thinks for the thunderstorm. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go. Come on, AXI. AXI is not a kinda. Yeah, let's see, man. Don't jinx the trade, cool bro. Shay, I appreciate the love, but come on, man. Let's see if we can get this rock and roll. We already got a 7-cent pop or 6-cent pop just like that. See if it can continue or if it's going to break down. Weakness within the tape is not a good thing. We can get out break even on this trade if it doesn't really start going relatively soon, and then that will be it. But other than that, Bitcoin continuing to climb a spike there. We're getting a new print, almost a new 5-minute high printed on the NASDAQ and on the SPY. Tesla right back at the volume weighted average price. So they're definitely going to be here. Be prepared for them. I'm not going to say do what I did, but essentially be prepared to go half size and wider stop, and that's essentially what we got going here on this trade, my brother.
Yes, sir. So Apple does spike to that 250 mark. So I'm watching it closely. I'm just curious to know if if we are going to sell off aggressively as we did in the morning session, is that selling totally done as we come back into some potential levels from before? What's up, Adara?
To digest that spike, I do have a headline for you guys. Axios reporting that, according to exclusive sources from the U.S. and Israel, there have been some progress in these ceasefire negotiations. Now, they don't mention Iran in this headline, which I think is pretty interesting. But either way, here again, Axios saying that according to U.S. and Israeli sources, there is some progress that is being shown in negotiations towards a ceasefire. Likely the reason for that most recent pop here in the NASDAQ. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you very much.
Clean flush on that tape. We got a strong buyer there, Obi. Let's see if we can start printing 59s on it now. Hit the 60s, my boy. We hit the 60s. There we go. Continuing to climb in this specific trade, guys. Let's rock and roll on this one. We'll piece a little bit off here right now, actually, because we don't want to hold on to this too long. Katina Man back in the building. He's going to give us a rating on the launch very, very soon. We're waiting for Neil's rating. I'm giving it a Neil 6+. He's probably giving that a 6+ on that one there. R. Williams, we're rocking and rolling. There goes AIXI.
So we're chopping around that 250 now on Apple as, both the futures look like they're catching a bit of a bid back into their opening range or opening prices even. Definitely some opening price testing coming in. Prior candle already did a little bit of that, but we'll see if there's going to be a continuation here. It seems like USO sellers finally kind of got into and through VWAP, and even with a bit of this volatility, it's coming in with sellers stepping in off of VWAP here, 142s now on USO. So, if that's going to become the trend on the day for USO, we're going to start holding below VWAP and pull back into these low 140s, maybe even high 130s. Then, the market can easily bid up and continue to push higher here. 250-20s coming in here on Apple. And why did I like this area from before? Let's go in and look at what it did here in the morning session. This was the first place, this little block here from about 250.08s. Let's get specific, 250.08s to a low of 249s. That little chunk right there is the first slowdown on the way down. Now, of course, sellers were still very aggressive. They continued. There wasn't really any sort of a bounce, but this was the whatever bounce that we did have happened in and around this area. So I'm going to continue to stay a little bit interested here in and around that 250. I also like that 250 because it's a quarter mark. I like my quarters. Yeah, the 250 could be a little bit interesting here. But the market pulling back up towards its highs, you know, that could mean absolutely nothing. For a potential pullback in, what can I and should I be looking for here? We looked at the downtrend break earlier here. Take a look at this one. So that trend is holding up quite nicely as well. So maybe to go the other way, I just got to wait for this.
Oh, dude, AIXI, this thing just went absolutely off there.
Let's go.
Yo, it halted. Let's go. We're still in this.
You ask and you shall receive.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yes,
Mr. Leahy, the best character in the Trailer Park Boys. Sharif, where you at, my boy? Here it is. AIXI, Luis Barbados. Are you watching? Bang. There it is. We're still in this one, Obi. That's what we're talking about. I was going to say, hey, man, can we hold the rest of our size until 40s? I'm caught in this uphold, but that was absolutely insane on that one. It was just going, and I'm like, wow, and then it just popped up like 30 cents almost, just like that, as quick as you would like, as Sharif would typically say. Katina Man caught in the uphold, my boy, 135%.
Nice. So what are we looking at for an open there?
Right now, tap at $1.95. Let's get ready. Sharif has, yeah, really. All right, Williams, for sure. He does, man. Sending me videos of where he's at. So we're not going to disclose.
You got more videos now?
No, Sharif, where Sharif is at.
No, I know. We got more videos?
Oh, we got more videos. Yeah,
we
can't show those ones there, my boy.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But other than that, he's having a grand old time. I've been there. I was there for a bachelor party multiple years ago now. And let me tell you this. It's a time for sure. We'll hit the Stone Cold one more time. Did Luis, yeah, hopefully, but AIXI up 135%, caught in that uphold, tap to 195. We have to be prepared to get out of this bad boy as quick as you'd like. Let's go, Mike Peter Ryder, Los Pollos.
When's the opening time there on that one?
I think we got a couple more minutes, Mike.
5 minute hold time.
Yeah.
So
5 minutes.
12:29:20. So should be opening at 34:20.
Yeah, 34.
So we'll give it a few more minutes
Print
there.
that $2. Print that $2 tap.
Yeah, that tap is looking quite nice there. $1.95 on the day. So good stuff there on getting involved with a potential alter and off of the trend line break as well.
Yeah,
good stuff there. Technically very sound on that AIXI.
Been cold as ice as lately, but we take it for when we can, what we can, and when we got a party, it's time
yeah, exactly.
Party, man.
I mean, here's the thing. You were saying that, maybe, not doing so hot on the large caps, so I want to try some small caps, and boom, right there. If this isn't a sign.
If this is...
You know what I mean?
Oh, man, I know, man. Listen, Obi, I don't know if you're, I don't know if you're a more statistic man, but I'll tell you, when there's a fight...
More of a feels man.
Feels man. So we got a big light heavyweight UFC bout this weekend. Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Alberg. I'm taking the under in that, okay?
Okay.
Under 5 rounds. Let me be precise here. Under 5 rounds. Why? Because someone is going to get knocked out. And that's what we want. And then also, I'm going very heavy. Like, I very rarely, like, when I know a specific fight is when I'll place a bet. I'm not just, like, betting every weekend on this
stuff. So you've seen these fighters, you know their stats.
Know their previous history and everything along those lines. Someone's going to get KO'd in this one. But we have the Freedom 50 UFC card at the White House. We have Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje as the main event. Ilia Topuria is going to knock out Justin Gaethje, and I am that. You know how we talk about exponential bet sizing?
Yeah.
That's an exponential bet.
Okay.
Right there.
You're saying that's an A++?
Yeah. It's an A++. You take that 1,010% every time. I could be wrong. I do, and I'm not Italian like Katina Man. So other than that, man, I got those two lined up. Let's see if we can rock and roll. What's up, Katina Man? Did you get those? Did you get those VO meatballs I was telling you about last night? All right, those are fire. For anyone here in Toronto or in Canada, if you have a farm boy, get the VO meatballs. Very, very, very good stuff there. But tap now at $2, Obi.
Let's go.
It's half
We
now.
halted up at what, 89?
Yeah, bro.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
we're in at 54, so $2.
Only a
just
couple
like
more,
that.
couple more minutes. Actually, 1 minute.
1 minute, man.
1 minute.
We got to get
exactly.
ready to get out of
We're
this.
at 33.20s right now.
All right, let me put
on
some,
the time. So
let me put some orders in here, brother.
yeah, definitely. You get put in some of those orders there. 195 tap. So definitely poised to open a little bit higher there.
Oh, what is that? How did I just catch a fill? Is that pending?
That's that might be an internal order. It's definitely an internal order there.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right.
yeah. So it's called Sometimes that definitely happens. There, if a lot of participants, if a lot of people at the firm are potentially, what's that? Oh, okay.
So I can't even do it.
So you'll be long on. Okay.
So what does that happen?
There you go. It's open right there. Let's go.
Dang, it wasn't that many, to be honest with you. All right. Oh, and it's still going 216. How about that one? Oh, and it's still going 220. We got all of that. We'll take it for what it is, guys. 210. A quick move. So, oh my God, Obi, it just popped up to 230.
Yeah.
This thing is absolutely insane.
Where's the next?
Well, good thing I didn't do more internal orders there because I would have had to market on open those, or limit on open those if I didn't want it to fill internally, right?
Okay.
So what am I going to get in trouble for the overnight hold?
You're getting it repriced to $2 there.
So I got to be prepared for it to be on my blotter tomorrow.
No, that's not what. That's not.
All right.
It'll just get repriced because right now it's in no man's land. It's like it's floating in the abyss, right?
It's in the abyss.
So it'll just be like, obviously, you shouldn't have got that fill. It'll fill you at whatever that initial candle opened at, which seems like it's just shy of $2. So
man, this thing's gonna halt again, man. You learn something new every day. Yes, thanks, Katina, man. I appreciate that. Katina, man, just Vince McMahon'd me over there. There it is. Lexstar. We can give you that if you want, my friend. But other than that, a nice little move on AIXI. Man, what a move, man. That was pretty cool.
I don't know if it's
too bad that's not gonna happen. It's definitely open.
No, over.
Oh, what do you mean over? The volatility.
The move.
Yeah. I mean, here it is, man. Who are we going to? Adara?
I think so. I think I got.
We didn't get the green light. That's all right. We'll be patient. That was pretty cool as it's continuing to climb. Now 194%. Sharif, brother. There he goes. I can't hear you either. So anyways, yeah, now I hear you. Now 243 and still climbing.
It ain't
247, 250. It ain't over until we say it's over. Oh, we hit the money. 254 and 255 being printed on AIXI. Who is this individual? What is going on here? I don't even know the float of this thing. 341 million shares. Uh-oh, Sharif. I'm going to say it one more time. New small cap king in town, my boy. Obviously joking. I don't even know if he's listening. He might be on a plane right now, to be honest with you. Yeah. But a nice little move. Up to 200+% in this name. Having fun with that one, Adara.
Let's talk here about some more headlines. You guessed it. Out of the Middle East. I do want to unpack some of these Axios headlines concerning the negotiations because I've seen a lot of them as of late, and in case you've seen them and you are wondering what's going on, I do want to take the time to kind of go over some of these with you. So Axios basically reported that there's been now a glimmer of hope with regards to negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Apparently there has been progress specifically within the last 24 hours in the negotiations, but according to this Axios report, it still seems like it's a long shot, the idea of getting a concrete deal by the 8 p.m. Eastern deadline that was made by President Trump. Apparently the thinking though at the White House is gone from can we actually make a deal to can we make a deal by tonight? So they think it's possible. It's about now whether or not they can do it on time. Furthermore, there could be, quote, unprecedented escalation, as we know, should the deal not be reached. So long story short, Axios reporting relative, optimism with regards to these deals, but overall nothing has changed. So I do want to update you guys in case you're seeing these Axios headlines. Back to you.
Great, thank you very much.
270 on this.
What are we doing? Yeah, that thing. Where's the next halt band on that one?
I don't know. You see that?
You got your bands marked there?
No, I don't.
Or you got to go in and put.
You got to put that
in.
stuff in there. Maybe.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, your first day kind of dabbling with those small caps. You got to I'm sure if you talk to Sharif, he'll get you set up with those because I know he has those halt bands marked on his book and
he's got those on
thing
there
as well. So yeah, no, it definitely helps out to have some of those. But you can kind of measure it out, roughly a 10% halt band, depending on how many halts have happened during the day as well. Right?
But I mean, like this move,
a bunch of different rules around that.
From like $2 to 250 is another quarter right there. No.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was fun, short-lived.
It also has to be within a specific amount of time because it'll reset.
280 halt. 280 halt. They're saying if it rips up there, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
It almost got there. It got to 70s, no 60.
I don't know if this is just a wick or anything along those lines. We could take a look at another chart to see what we got going on. Yeah, 268. So we did get it almost to that 272 level. What was I going to do? I was going to pull something up, but now it just slipped my mind. Nonetheless, yeah, I mean, that was fun. Is it going to continue? Probably not. I don't know, 200% on this name. Yesterday, I did the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
So so leading into this morning's session, I seen the pre-market price action and just the liquidity, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can get involved in this one, AIXI, and then bang, up to the top side, now printing 245. Add some less, or a couple more orders out and ride a little bit, but nonetheless, can't complain. That was a whole bunch of fun. I hope you guys got that opportunity as well too. And yeah, other than that, man, ride the wave. And the wave is up to 213% right now. Obi, maybe $2.80, maybe in the works, but you have to get there in a certain amount of time, as you just mentioned.
Yes, sir. So the craziness on AIXI is continuing to happen as it consolidates at its highs. Just watching some of this Apple here, nothing too crazy. Still consolidating, chopping around that 250 as of right now. Markets maybe taking a little bit of a breather. We got about 4.5 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, 24/200s. Here on the NASDAQ, holding up triple wick on the prior, I guess, including this 15-minute candle in and around this area. We try to push. Once again, can't really get through it. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I have no idea. But a little bit of slowing down is what I'm seeing here. This was that consolidation that we had coming into the open of the session right here. You can see holding that 24/200, and then prior wicks, boom, 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 boom. Similar story on the ES, kind of. It's more of the higher end of that pre-market consolidation coming into the open. That was held as a bit of resistance, and the prior two 15-minute candles have wicks up into that 66.30 area. So yeah, maybe a little bit of supply potentially holding it down for now. But has the trend changed? That's the question, right? Has the trend changed? It definitely does look like the trend has changed when it comes to some of the Mag 7s. You can see that, Apple definitely catching a bit of a bid here. Softy actually got back above its opening price here. So if we take a look at MSFT, you can see opened down here. Yeah, open down here, 370.35s. We're finally getting above that, but it seems like still maybe a little bit of supply here. This was where we were sold off in the morning. You can see wick tests of this area on Microsoft still holding a little bit of selling here. Google as well, similar story. I'm looking across the board. Same places where supply stepped in off of the open is what we're hitting right now on a few of these Mag 7 names. Even on this Google, look at this. This was maybe potentially a held bid. Look at all of these 3-minute candles. Top wick, top wick, top wick, top wick, top wick. But that base is pretty flat right there at 302s and some change. So that's interesting to me. And then we break the highs, pull right back into that support. That held for what, over 15, 20 minutes? Right there, almost half an hour on a very tight range. So yeah, that could be a piece of information. Interpret that however I want to. Tesla, what is Tesla up to here? Tesla is reclaiming its VWAP as of right now. So trying to pull back in. Again, I guess relative weakness definitely being shown a little bit more on this one alongside with Apple, of course, but compared to some of the other 7s, you can see here still holding below its opening range low on Tesla, but that picture could change. We did get a bit of that taco move happening as of right now with the potential of the deadline being pushed further. Once again, another one.
Fabian.
So we'll wait and see how that unfolds, if anything will actually happen at 8 p.m. tonight or not. Have to wait and see. Let's see how some of these chips are doing. Wow, Intel, man, this is one. Bigger picture stuff going on here, right? We're talking about how bigger picture. When I'm talking about Intel and I say bigger picture, I mean those multiple months that we were consolidating underneath. Look, I have it all, nicely charted up, and is it not even 23? It's down here. This is a 30-minute chart. We'll go to a 3-hour chart right here. So, boom, a lot of supports on Intel, but I know it's a little bit messy. I got to pull these off because obviously you guys will not be able to tell. But this little chop right here, multi-month, almost over a year of chop underneath that 25. Sure, there was a few moments where we got above 26s, but very strong consolidation, especially while the whole AI move was happening. Intel was, almost nowhere to be found. Finally, you get the presidential seal. And that's what some of these indicators are on, especially some of these moving, these anchored VWAPs, right? Every time. Sure, Intel has been having crazy chop, but the more significant I think an anchored VWAP is, the more I bold it out. So you can see here, when we actually broke out of that range, that's where this double red anchored VWAP is coming in. Every single pullback into that zone of acceptance, is how I like to look at it, has been bought up. So you can either be buying these breakouts or you can be buying pullbacks. When it comes to bigger picture, I like to look for a little bit of support as well, but you can see stepping up, bigger picture, still pushing. Back-to-back good news on this one. Now we have some affiliation with SpaceX as well. Prior high coming in at 55.34s on this one. So yeah, I did try to get aggressively long, but intraday, not as easy. Bigger picture, a lot more straightforward, a lot more clear as to where actual buyers are sitting on this one and where sellers may be sitting as well. But we're finally kind of breaking out towards that 55 level once again, an attempt. I'm curious to know, are we going to get to that 55 soon enough? 52.97s currently back up into that 53 area where we had supply in the pre-market, supply off of the open. Is this going to be distinctly different? The market is distinctly different than it was now, than it was in the morning, right? So all of those factors, we could get a push through 53s, maybe some scalps are potentially in store, but I'll keep a close eye on this one. I think I had to keep an eye here in and around that VWAP, because once it does kind of chop around, reclaim, some of these breakouts are coming in nicely here, about 50 pennies off the prior high there on Intel, pulling back into the whole dollar at 53s right now.
All right, man. Yeah, good look. Thing 200%. Bitcoin slowly climbing higher. Same with the overall market too, guys. As it's heading towards the top end of this wick of the volatility spike on the SPY, 657, and just a nice steady uptrend right here. Consistent higher lows is essentially what we want to see. Tesla starting to find somewhat of a bounce as well, to a curl over that inverse turtle shell, and then we have a consolidation zone on IBIT. The OB is short Apper, so let's head over to our watch list, guys, and see what we have for the Mag 7. We have yet to go over them here today and see what we got cooking. AAPL 250 and starting to find someone to rebound. Watch out for this support level, though. There might be some more downside on that one. I didn't get what you said there, Assassino, if you did say anything. Oh, okay. I just heard the thing go. A slight rebound right there in AAPL. NVDA, how have you been performing today? Continuing its climb higher. Oh, wow. Hindsight 2020, Obi. That was a beautiful print right off of the lows here on NVDA. Gorev, did you take advantage of that, Los Polios? I know you're forever long this name, but that is Deion Sanders right there, prime time. Anyways, aside from that, guys, a nice little print. I think the algo should pick that up. We'll take a look momentarily on what we have going on that front there, ladies and gentlemen. PANW, how's my friend CrowdStrike been performing? Why are we not located? Like, this thing just gets scrambled all the time. Where's our boy Crowd? Let's see what we got going on here with the strike. Essentially, did we start to head back a little bit higher? Nice indecision print halfway through there, and we haven't even gone through our tracker in quite some time. So let's do that. We got a couple things that we can do. We got path to look highs on 68 on Chow. Look the high, it's $68? No way. Pathik, are you serious? Let's pull that up here. We'll take a couple steps back. We digress. XI 68 smackers. Let's head over to the weekly on that one, Obi. Oh, I see $94. There's a split though, so maybe you have that split implemented into their $73, but that was a high of $98 at one point there. IPO, this is the weekly, roughly around April of 23. Now really starting to rock and roll. A lot of tagging in the chat. Why were you guys asking me, wow, how you doing, brother? We're good, Louis. Hope everything is good. Eric Vargas, yeah, man, I'm fine. I was just, oh man, like what happened? Like we had a good opportunity there on NVDA for the potential long, but that one didn't work out. But let's head over to our watch list, Broadcom as well. So we'll pull something up here and see what we got. Go through a couple of more. Our visualizer, that is Obi. We got the target visualizer. Where's our portfolio tracker? Let's see how everybody in the club is doing. Your boy sliding a little bit. Ramin climbing the charts. Sean and I neck and neck right here, essentially. So not too bad of a look whatsoever. Let's get over to the tracker and see how everybody's doing. Obi's still leading the race. 103% on Babcock and Wilcox there. Sidhu also.
Look at Circle right now, dude. So I was just going to say, like, Circle's just in a straight line up. I have no idea what's going on. Somebody in the chat pointed out, both Circle and Coin are getting aggressive bids on regular volume right now. Yeah, taking a look at this one, maybe potentially setting up for an intraday reversion here. But yeah, I have a 0.5 relative volume. So it's doing half the volume it normally does, at least in the past 5 days. And it's been a steady grinding bid on this one all the way up to 94.75 highs. So yeah, when that buyer is done, I definitely want to potentially play a part there.
So I knew that the algo would pick that up. Bang, bang.
Yes, sir. That's the hammer, right? Yeah. I mean, it literally says that on your chart, but I don't know what you. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, we'll continue watching some of these markets, some of these crazy moves here on the day. But right now, I think Adara's got a guest for us, so we'll see you guys soon.
I do, Obi. We're very excited to welcome to the show Raza Bokhari, MD, Executive Chairman and CEO of Medicus Pharma, which trades on the NASDAQ as MDCX. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me on your program. I'm really excited to be on this live Trader TV show. So I watch it every now and then. It's very fascinating.
Awesome. Happy to hear you watch it. Let's start right in here with a quick overview of Medicus Pharma and how your investor operator model works.
So we are a NASDAQ issuer and a life sciences biotech company focused on advancing clinical development programs of phase 2 novel therapeutic assets that we believe can be potentially disruptive. As an investor operators, we both at the management level and at the board level are the funds that write the first check when we got this company off the ground. This is my second IPO. So we came on the scene about 2 years ago, where I usually write the first check of, I think 4 million plus was in this, in Medicus, with another 8 million or 10 million from the remaining board members and management, and the rest of the 4 million from an extended circle of friends, where we started this IPO in November of 2024 at $4 a share. So we're really excited to where we are, and just that's the investor operator model.
So let's talk a little bit now about de-risking the traditional biotech model. So how does your company's approach differ from what we typically see in early stage biotech?
So one, we are what would classify to be mid-stage, where we take these novel clinical therapies, which are either in phase 2 and they are phase 2 ready. Then we also always, when we take control of these assets, we take control. So we always have a majority interest, so we can just run and take control of the destiny of advancing these novel therapies. We also look for assets that have always with an exit in mind, where these therapies have more than $1 billion of an addressable market size. Lastly, we try to acquire them at a value which is anywhere between 10 to 25 million, more close to 10 million at the start. We commit to invest 10 to 25 million in these clinical studies, more close to 10 million than 25 million, and then with a positive a data set, a decision grade data set, position them to be acquired by bigger players and monetize. So we remain quite disciplined in our vertical and try to refrain from any temptations to step or color outside the lines, as they say.
So you mentioned some of these treatments here. You have multiple programs underway, including Skinject and Taverolix. So how should investors think about the balance between these assets in terms of where your focus is?
So Skinject is our lead asset. It is a novel therapy developed to bring to market a non-invasive treatment for the most common cancer, skin cancer, particularly basal cell carcinoma, and it also has an autosomal rare disease indication of Gorlin syndrome. So the way this our progress is, we recently gave a positive top-line data set, so we have pretty much have invested nearly $10 million in the R&D program, and now this asset is at a mature level where it is now well-positioned for a collaboration or a partnership with a bigger player, where it serves to create a potentially a monetizing event for us, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that keeps us, puts our attention to Taverolix, which is a very exciting acquisition that we completed towards the end of last year. And now we are picking up momentum, and our entire focus is on advancing 2 indications of Taverolix, which is a next generation hormone antagonist, where in advanced prostate cancer patients, in patients with urologic issues and women's health. So the way investors should think is that we focus on getting one asset to a level of maturity so it could realize monetization while we start to focus on these additional indications that are in the pipeline. So we try to be a good custodian of shareholders' invested capital.
For sure, and I definitely want to congratulate you guys on announcing the optimized phase 2 design submission for Taverolix, which I know you just talked about a little bit here. So let's zoom out now. You've outlined a number of catalysts for 2026, which include FDA interactions, new studies, and even some potential partnerships. So what do you think is maybe the most impactful, if you could pick one catalyst here that you think would be the most impactful for Medicus in the near term?
So, as they say, these little drops of water and grains of sand, they make these mighty oceans and land. So all of these catalysts, they all contribute towards value creation. However, if you have to pick one that is most promising that we look forward to, is our partnering and finalizing following an end of phase 2 meeting on the Skinject asset. We hope that we can find a partner, monetize, and and move forward our journey towards finding new exciting assets. And before I lose you, I do want to quickly mention of this optimized study that we have announced. The value of this is the execution model is that we acquired an asset where the design would have costed us north of $30 million. We have refined it, and now we have brought it down to a level where south of $10 million of investment could give us a decision-grade data set. So that is how we continue to advance forward and hopefully create sustainable shareholder value.
Well, thank you very much for being here with us. Raza Bokhari, MD, Executive Chairman and CEO of Medicus Pharma. Again, you can find Medicus on the NASDAQ as MDCX. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you again for having me on your program. I hope I get to come back again.
Very much, yeah.
Absolutely. You can come back
anytime. Interesting products there for sure. And yeah, I'll have to check out that stock as well. First time I'm hearing a little bit about it, but I think you got something to talk about right there.
Yeah, we can talk
some craziness.
Yeah, absolutely. So halt down now on halted down on AIXI. Fortunate enough to get out of the one, climbs up to 270, and then it just goes absolutely tank city right there. Yeah, not too good of a look, especially if you've been holding. I just watched it. Like, look at this 1 minute candle, drops 30 cents. This one drops another 30 cents as well too. So that was chaotic. Fortunate. I mean, it would have been nice and ideal to hold all the way up into 270, but then when you get those clean flushes down, Luis, where you at, brother? Did you? I highly doubt that he shorted it all the way up there, but if he did, then nice. I don't know. I think it'd be too difficult up there, and I think he's a little bit more strategic and on his entries. So a nice little move on AIXI. Looking forward to talking about this one tomorrow, Adara.
Yeah, I mean, thank you again to Raza for coming on today. I was keeping an eye on headlines during this interview. There was really only one headline of note in terms of geopolitics, but New York Times did report a couple of minutes ago that U.S., Israel, and Iran are actually accelerating their strikes ahead of their deadline. So knowing that there's this 8 p.m. deadline, I guess people are trying to get strikes out of the way should the conflict come to an end. Furthermore, we do have comments that are coming through from Feds Goolsby. He was set to start at 12:35 p.m., but as Brennan mentioned this morning, very rarely do these Feds start on time, so it looks like he's starting about 25 minutes late. He said that there's nothing in the Federal Reserve Act that says they have to make the stock market or the president happy. So basically saying the Fed is not reacting or acting in any way to influence the president or the market. They are just acting based on their own data. Furthermore, saying that actively discussing taking away the independence of the Fed would be a bad idea, and that if the Fed was, did come dependent in some way, that would actually result in a roaring back of inflation, according to Feds Goolsby. I'll keep an eye on this for you guys. He also says that oil prices are likely a stagflation shock. Back to you.
Massive spike up there.
Huge spike in the market.
Yeah, talk to him about it. I'm looking for something up. I just got a spike up notification. As soon as I get it, we'll let you know. But Apple just absolutely ripping to the top side there. iPhone is on track, so it wasn't. Wow. Now it is.
Gazy.
Boom. Massive move to the top side there. Obi, I know you are short that.
I got a little rocked on that one, but we'll go to Dara and see what is up with the news there.
Here's the news here with Apple. AAPL is seeing some reports suggesting that Apple is very likely to be releasing its foldable phone alongside the 18 Pro. So again, we don't necessarily have a time for the 18 Pro, but either way, whenever they do announce the 18 Pro, I guess it's going to be in September, I'm just seeing from Bloomberg, we're also going to be getting the foldable iPhone released alongside it. Now, we know Nikkei Asia reported earlier that we were going to be getting the foldable iPhone potentially delayed by a couple months. So this is a significant change in terms of what we were seeing prior. Again, Bloomberg now reporting that, contrary to earlier reports, foldable iPhone will be released alongside the iPhone 18, likely in September. Back to you.
Does that count as a volatility spike in the overall market? Like we just got one there in Apple and the voting. We're gonna create a new one. Are you? Whoa! What do we do? Lock in the top two. We'll lock that in there. What does the tug of war do? What is stock shutdown, Fabian? fire up the stock, one or two, Tesla, or, I mean, I don't even really know what's going on here, but the showdown, Apple Foldable, iPhone on track to debut in September, as Adara just brought to us. Looking forward to that one. I want to create a poll here. Are you going to be buying the iPhone? Here it is, guys. Are you buying iPhone? There we go. Got that wrong. Yes. No. Start voting now. Are you buying the iPhone Foldable 2? A lot of twos in the board. No, 2. Well, maybe I'll go 1. Maybe we grab that one. Let's see what everyone's up to there in the chat. Tap on that was 205. Now trading back up to 224 there on AIXI. A lot of 2s in the chat. Uh-oh. Why is no one buying that? Like, do you guys already have the 17 and you don't necessarily upgrade your phone for X amount of years? Maybe. I mean, I have the 16. Maybe we switch that in for a foldable. I don't know if I want anything bigger than this. I think I might get the 18 though. Hand that one in there. You're an iPhone. Ichiro, you're a developer though? Okay, what did you vote? Bro, we need less screens, not more. What does that mean? We need less screens. Not more. Okay, I see what you're saying. Android for the win. What?
For sure, man. Android for the win.
We'll hit the fail on that one. I'm going to buy an Android, man. Anyways, aside from that one, Android guy there. A lot of votes going in. 68 to the no side and then 21 to the downside. But there goes, dude, there goes AIXI right back to the top side. 270 once again in this name, 222%, straight to the top. That was insane. A nice look. How's your Apple going there, Obes?
Yeah, so this is not necessarily the best. I got swiped on part of it there, but it is what it is. You know, if I'm trading like this, sometimes you got to be willing to take a slap or two just like that. But you know, I guess the funny enough, the reversion came in, and then you get that walking back on the news, and then it goes from 250 all the way to 253s on some of those swipes there. So pretty aggressive move. So shout out to anybody who had the long and held the long for that consolidation above VWAP there. But yeah, no, I was definitely very, very wrong on this one, and you know, not really trading with a tight stop there, getting blasted all the way at 252s. For part of the position there, and working my way out of the rest of it right now. But yeah, you know, not necessarily the best there, a little unlucky, but it is what it is. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But I guess great news for Apple as they're right back on track. So technically, does that mean we should be swiping all the way back to the reference prices because we were sold off based off of some of this news, or are we still kind of in and around the right area here, around those 251s, 252s, as the market is also pretty red on the day today? So we talked about earlier how, you know, there could have been multiple factors of the aggressive selling that took part, that were the reason for the selling on Apple on the day today, and it doesn't necessarily have to get all the way back to that opening price. You can see the market as well. Sure, didn't really get back to its opening price just yet, but a decent recovery all the way back in. The SPY for sure has gone back to its opening price because that was in and around 66.30s here on the ES. So craziness. There's not just taco on some of I guess Trump's news posts. There's taco on the Apple as well. I don't know if you like Apple in your tacos.
No, I don't know if that's necessary. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I like apples though. Shout out to Gala. Gala apple is probably one of the best. And Cosmic Crisp. Cosmic Crisp, a not very known brand of apple. Very good. All right, guys. If you're not getting your votes in on this, then I don't really know. This is it. Which device are you going with? 1, 2, or 3? Apple, Android, or other? Put it in the chat, guys. 2. Let's see. A lot of 2s going on. Get everybody. Listen. We're gonna put. Okay, Macintosh apples, so tasty. We still have those here. Adara. Oh, you.
I have the teeth of like an old man, so I can't eat them.
Oh,
anymore. It's just like a sad moment.
They fall apart.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we could slice those up for you as well too. We could slice them up. There's another option as well too. Hawaii paid for by Apple and a few cars. A condo in Hawaii and a few cars by that Apple stock in the 90s. Obi putting that 2 in there. A lot of 3 going on. Whoa.
What's the 3? The
other,
like a
Google?
pixel or
Yeah,
okay,
Google,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A rotary phone, says Pizza Gang. Did your household back in the day have a rotary phone?
No, I don't think I
my grandparents.
remember a rotary phone.
You know what that is, right?
No, of course. Yeah.
Imagine
You
you
gotta
actually,
go one
like-
number at a time there. On.
I didn't know it was an emergency, and it's like 9.
Yeah, exactly. What were the logistics behind that? I guess you just have to do it as fast as possible, right?
Yeah, get that one.
So, I do remember growing up when you couldn't use the phone while you were using the internet.
Yeah, AOL, man.
Yes. Yeah.
All those noises.
That was classic there.
Yeah, that was classic. You only use one or the other. But yeah, put it in the chat. Android leading the way. So for all the individuals in the Apple ecosystem, you got to get rocking and rolling here. Essentially, you got to get those votes in. 10% or a little bit less than that. 48 votes for the Android phone. 38 votes for the Apple. Get those 1s, 2s, or 3s in there, and then a measly 4 for other. I mean, once you're kind of integrated into the different systems, then whatever ecosystem you're in, then it's a little bit harder to transfer over, I think, in my opinion. So once you're stuck something, pure LimeWire, downloading songs off of LimeWire and just getting absolutely destroying the computer while you're doing it, essentially. Pure viruses with that one. 58 votes now for Android, 47. Not doing too much, 202% there on AIXI. Apple, how's that been doing, Obi? We had a massive spike in that one. Still holding up around those highs at 251. So let's see if we're going to get a little bit of a pullback here. Strong volume, but there is still some selling pressure stepping in. Apple always. Yeah, we're going to keep this one up for a bit, and then we'll get back to it. Maybe we can get a second wave of individuals voting on that specific topic there. Still looking at IBIT, running into that supply zone at 38.80. Can't break through that. We were going over the options chain not too long ago on this one at 39.50 on IBIT. Those are now OTM. For those who aren't aware, out of the money. And how has that supply been holding up? Are we still sitting at the same amount? The size is growing at 41, 38.50, relatively cool. But sorry, we got to head over to this week's expiration. So yeah, $39, 28,000 contracts. All right, I like that one. Let's see if we continue to climb a little bit higher. 39 bucks. Where is that going to put us on the day? And then we can maybe base a trade off of that. 39 is right around here. That's a pre-market zone. Hard to depict because it was selling off of that level, but maybe you get a little bit of a bounce, and then who knows what can happen at that point. But the uptrend is still fully intact here on IBIT.
Yes, sir. So bit of a settling down. So that spike, volatility spike on Apple settling down now, holding that 251 halves there, all out of that one. GG's on that for sure. Let me know. Did you guys participate in any of the Apple moves today? The short off of the open, the reversion off of the lows. That worked out quite nicely as well. Or maybe now on the news that they're going back on their thing and it spikes up, kind of bounces all the way up to 253 halves, and then now pulling back 251.40. So a quick little volatility spike again. If I'm not in the position, I'm definitely looking to fade some of that as well. Just have to be a little bit more patient on that one. You can see I started getting a little aggressive. Boom, stop out. Boom, stop out. And then on the third one, I was like, okay, maybe I got to leave a little bit of a looser stop. Nope. Boom. Gets swiped there on that one. But it seems like we're holding technically higher highs and higher lows now on Apple. So maybe looking for a potential V-shape recovery on this one. Let me know in the chat what you guys are up to, what you guys are trading. Yep, Apple off the revert trader or earlier saying drawing in the chat there. Apple, yes, calls still holding price above the 9 and the 20 EMAs. Nice, yeah. I guess you can be looking at some of the strikes and then
Apple?
put on moving averages on the prices of those options as well. I like I like looking at strikes, but I do prefer looking at the options chart a little bit closer because it actually shows me a little bit of the supply and the demand and how prices have been moving around during the day as well.
What do you so like you'd pick a
on the option chart. So for example, say like a 250. Like what's the 250
chart,
250
like
call?
The chart is doing.
What the
I think that's a little
250
bit tough because you have
Is
to implement. Yeah, you have to implement decay into the value of the contract.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if it's expiring today, like you know what I mean, like getting with the uptrend is what I'm talking about. You can see volume in there as well. So I think it's kind of at the same time, if you're just like, okay, well, I'm only going to go off of price and volume. Can you not use similar concepts on options charts? Because that's usually what I like doing.
That's a great question, and I would have to sit and think about that one a little bit. Yeah. I just don't think it's the same because some of the charts differ, right? Like you'd have to.
No, of course, yeah. But say I'm trading the 250 strikes on the day.
Oh yeah, that's the difference.
If I'm trading the 250 strikes on the day,
then you can
like,
treat it like actual price action.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's showing me the demand of that vehicle, of that asset, which is the.
Absolutely. I mean, what do we got here? OB 260. I don't think we're going to hit that today, but that's where we're going to see a lot of the supply on this week's expiration cycle. So did the volatility step in? Oh yeah, a little bit here on Apple, 35.8%, so a slight increase in the premium. But I wouldn't be surprised if that starts to cool down at some point here on
Are those zeros?
Where?
No, do they expire today?
No. Oh, 0 DT? No, 3-day.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-day. 3-day. So yeah, there it is at 265. That's gonna be that next step, but you have to break through this first. And we were just going over IBIT as well, considering $39, right? So I think that's huge supply for this name. So I think that we'll reject that throughout the week. Maybe we'll trade above it for a little bit, but then the average, you'll see the size grow a little bit, and then sure enough, by the end of the week, $39. I wouldn't be surprised if we close south of that. We're trading at 38.70 right now. We'll keep track of it. Let's head back to our tracker, as this name is just still chopping around here. Be cautious with this, guys. It's insane. You want to position yourself relatively well. I would have loved to have my original price like over at 96 cents. That would have been a fantastic time to get involved there. Glad that we ironed out that issue without any form of questioning. I was going to pull something up here. Yeah, let's get back to our tracker. Here we had 61 votes on the Android OB, and then Apple with only 50. So and 5 on the other. So Android land is definitely winning that one. Do you care if the options offered is $5 apart versus $1 apart? The spread? Are you referring, Ichiro, are you referring to the strike or the spread there? The strike price? Offered $5 apart. No, I don't like that, to be honest with you. Yeah. No, I want to see as many increments as I possibly can. So I like things that are 250, right? So every 250. But as you go further, you would know this, as you go further in the expiration cycle, they only give you $5 increments if you're going like way out. So so they only give you so many there. There's a lot of data, I guess. But Bitcoin's starting to climb a little bit higher here, guys. And the market's still grinding. This trend's still fully intact. We'll keep an eye out on this one just in case it breaks at some point. Maybe you can have a backside move. We reject this volatility spike high. We're on volatility spike maybe number 2. Are we going to classify Apple as a volatility spike? Or were we thinking about more or less
like
just
in the whole market? I think that's
in the whole market. So we're still sitting, but I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like 116, we might get 2 more, and we might surpass that. But keep an eye as we're starting to slide a little bit here on the overall market. SPY starting to break trend. And same thing with the NASDAQ, guys. Keeping an eye on Bitcoin for that $39 rejection.
Yes, sir. So, I'm continuing to go through some of these names we were looking at before. Yesterday, there was a name that, sparked my interest, and that was Starbucks, because all day long, Starbucks just trended up on pretty much not any sort of crazy volume, but take a look at this. Nice little push there. Coming in today, I was looking for a maybe potential continuation, but you know we've been getting a lot as of recent is that leg consolidation leg. So today seems like it's just consolidating within the upper range of prior day's action here on Starbucks, knocking on the door of that 95 area as of right now. So gonna keep watching this one, maybe not for today, but I'll watch it kind of cook today, and maybe come in for that potential second move tomorrow for, you know, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's more of like a three-bar move is what I'm looking for here. And we're seeing more and more of that occur in the market every now and then, right? It's got to set up the right kind of way. But if we're going to pull back up into some of these prior levels, maybe we do get that breakout of this, breakout of some prior levels as well. It seems like the most recent local low at 85s were about roughly $10 up off of that within the past few days, right? And aggressive bidding coming in prior day as well. So Starbucks was one of the ones I was watching. Let's take a look at some of these other stocks here as well. Intel couldn't really get past that 53, man. 53 came right back in with some supply, more of the same. A great example of that once again. 53 supply off of in the pre-market session off of that news. 53 supply once again off of the opening drive, and then 53 supply once again on the retest of this area intraday on INTC. CVS. Are you back up towards your high a day just yet? No, not really, but we did break through the opening range high. Pre-market high is sitting all the way up here at 79s, so it's kind of a sideways curl there on this one. Seems like it's holding a bit of a bid here at that 78 that I was pointing out earlier. It slowed down, sideways action within about 50 pennies on CVS. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on some of these cybersecurity plays like CrowdStrike. You could watch SentinelOne. You could watch here Palo Alto Networks as well. Seeing reports that the FBI is advising U.S. companies to increase their cybersecurity after Iran attempted to attack U.S. infrastructure. So again, as there are reported threats to U.S. infrastructure, we are getting reports that the FBI is advising these U.S. companies to increase their cybersecurity. Other cybersecurity plays you could watch here as well include Zscaler and FTNT. A lot of different ways you could play this, but again, keep an eye on cybersecurity as we do get these reports of the FBI saying, hey, U.S. companies, you might need more cybersecurity.
Good stuff there. A guy from work, what's going on? Oh, I've seen someone say it. Shouldn't nuclear like SMR be going? I know. Listen, my friend, SMR is just not it right now. A guy from work. I mean, we'll head over to our watch list and see what we got on NewScale Power here. I mean, down to $9, brother. Oh my Lanta. This thing was $56, $57, 84%. Bruh is right. Like, I don't even know what to hit at this point. I mean, I'm not even gonna hit that. That's just pure disrespectful. I'll tell you what I was gonna hit, and it's this. But it's not that funny, to be honest with you. So we'll slap the fail on that one, stone cold as well, just because it's cold. It's a cold world out here in NewScale Power, down 85% essentially. That is yeah, exactly, for Adara there. That's not a good time. So other than that, guys, market's starting to slide a little bit. AIXI, I thought we were going to get the halt down, starting to bounce a little bit here. The breakdown in IBIT, we're right back to our previous entry price here. So the top end of the range seems to be working pretty good. What's that give us? I mean, that's not too bad, right? Like if you can get up there, there's multiple opportunities. So you have the consolidation up there at 38.75. We start pushing price down a little bit lower, now down to 38.65, a little bit above where our previous entry was of 38.61. I'm not going to gauge here because why? I have to give it all the way up here until I'm wrong. I would rather get in right here and when I'm wrong all the way up here, which there was that opportunity. So we'll wait for one more chance to see if we can get involved in that one. A lot of bag holders here on, yeah, I know, man, it's not good. Here, the way you phrase that is sounding like you're Disco 22, like you're in SMR, which isn't the best thing. I took a swing on it a while ago and it just didn't work out. So yeah, I was happy to get out of that one. Not necessarily always the case, Adara.
Interesting little headline here with Tesla and Intel. Now, we already knew, of course, as announced around 9 a.m. or so this morning, that Intel would be joining the TerraFab project, which involves a whole host of Elon Musk companies, including Tesla and SpaceX and XAI. Well, now, hours later, just 2 minutes ago, Elon Musk posted on X. He quote tweeted the initial Intel post announcing this and said that, quote, looking forward to working with Intel on the TerraFab. So keep an eye on INTC getting some love from Elon Musk this afternoon.
Okay. We can head back, but what's Broadcom been up to here today, OB, on the 5-minute? Coming off
Bit
of
of a pullback,
high.
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a
looking at
move here,
that.
but relatively strong, right? Like, I mean, break through that pre-market high of 334. Apple, oh no, that doesn't look too good there, OB. You're out of that one?
Oh yeah, a while back.
Yeah, good call there on that 251. Now climbing up to 252 roughly. Goggles, what has it been up to? Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, oh man. Curl over right at VWAP, now starting to head a little bit lower. I wouldn't be surprised, like, I don't think it's the session today where we go and test this low of the day, but I could be totally wrong. So just be prepared for that on Tesla as the weakness continues. Same thing here with Meta. Man, oh man, I'm in this name from like 600, I believe. Where did we get involved there, Gorb? Yeah, like my average price is like $600 on Meta. Climbs 140 smackers, and then boom, Tank City, USA right there, 520 that low. So that's $200 to the downside off of that previous pivot high. And Meta, all these cases and all these lawsuits against them, not good. And it's going to be the exact same narrative. I've seen this a couple of times now, and I'm going to stick with this thesis, is that essentially what was going on with Apple and Google, and you have these antitrust, it's the exact same thing that's going to happen with Meta. Once everything comes to a cooling, which may take a year, probably a couple of years at that point, maybe even a little less, a little longer, plus minus, is that the stock is going to continue to sell. And regardless of the earnings report, we know that 97% of its revenue is coming from digital ad sales. How much more money is Mark Zuck going to look to spend? How much more money is he losing in Reality Labs, Obi? Man, did you ever try out the metaverse?
No, I didn't.
No, yeah, same. I don't know. Neil, did you ever try out the metaverse? Sia metaverse? Did you try out the metaverse glasses or whatever? No, the whole face thing. No. Adara probably not either. Adara, no? Dear God, no. Oh, dear God, no.
Not even remotely interested. I'm sorry.
Like,
Stories up,
hey, man.
could not pay me.
Okay, all right. So some people do get motion sick, including myself. Fabian and Assassino. Maybe Fabian. If I was gonna bet on anybody in this room, it would probably be Fabian, who tried them out. I don't know if he's like them. He likes that other gaming device. I see more commercials on that thing. What's that thing called again?
Which one? The actual VR gaming stuff?
No, like the one thing that's like supposed to beat out PC gaming and everything.
The Steam Deck?
No, the HCD Vive.
So the Vive, the HTC Vive is the actual like.
Okay.
It's the VR headset. Have you played any VR games though?
No, man.
You got to play VR games. Like some of them are absolutely amazing. And
can you get like a first-person shooter?
Yeah, of course. Dude, we have, I don't know if you've seen across the street, we have that Sandbox VR place.
Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I've tried similar things to that. And it's
Does that one have
like,
the treadmill where it like kind of does like a 360 in it? Like
so that one has more of like, it has like the whole arena, so it has big rooms, so you can run around
does this thing
and do
cost
things.
to go?
I think it's like a bill something. Fabian saying driving
you guys already know my
simulators are a lot of
driving anyways.
fun, but
What's this
I think so. There's one. Some of them have experiences too, right? So there's one that I've been on, absolutely crazy. So I have a weird kind of fear of heights, where it's just like if it's off of like 2 stories or 3 stories, like I'm not that. Like it doesn't faze me at all, right? But if it's off of like a 50 stories, 60 stories, then it's like, okay, that's a little bit scary, right?
I'm a big dinosaur nerd, so I would.
So they have Age of Dinosaurs. Yeah, they got
what is that? What do
I don't know. Maybe
there?
you walk around with a bunch of dinosaurs around you or something, but. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, some great, some real cool stuff there on
I gonna do in
that.
Stranger
But,
Things?
bro, so there's this game where you walk into an elevator, right? You're physically walking in. This is what kind of messes with your brain. You're in the VR room, and you have to step into the elevator physically, turn around, close the door, and then, you know, elevator music, whatever. It takes you to the top floor, and all it is a plank. And you have to walk out physically. You have to physically walk onto the plank. And then when I did that, my knees started shaking. I'm like, I didn't even know I had a fear like this. But it's funny how the mind plays.
Did you like?
So there's I mean, I never really jumped off of it, but there's an addition to the game where you can fly around in the city. So the next time I went up the elevator, I had like the little flying jets in my hand. So I took off from the plank, which is like a crazy. It's like they're like.
Is it like a rocket?
Kind of like a hose / rockets that you have on your hands, and then you just you fire them either ways, and then you fly in that direction.
I was looking for more or less a shooter game in here. I don't see that.
No, they have what? They have some FPSs for sure, but.
But that's
no. But the Sandbox VR place will let you walk around.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. Fabian, is when you're on the treadmill.
Yeah,
like that
the 360 treadmill. I've seen those as well. Yeah. There's still a little bit of resistance though, but yeah, no. Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
Fabian talking about full immersion technology. I don't know if you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh? Kind of like it's like the Matrix, you know. You plug in and you're just lying there, and so everything is just like signals to your brain,
like Black Mirror.
Kind of like Brent. Yeah, exactly.
And that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be sick. I don't know
Once
how
we get to there.
Because what if you do something like that one guy in Black Mirror? Dare you would know his name. He's in Bergonia.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons. Boy, Jay Plemons.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons. Shout out Jesse Plemons. A couple sick movies as well too. I'm trying to remember some of them, but anyways, he starts taking DNA from his co-workers, implements it into the game. Now they're trapped in this game, and they're plotting to go against him, and then eventually he gets stuck in the game abyss.
This is in Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I've seen that episode. Yeah. It's the first. They continue it for like an hour and a half special in the first season of the latest one. Sorry, the first episode of the latest one.
Oh, he's Todd from Breaking Bad. Yeah. Do you think that's one of his more? I guess maybe that might be his more. That's his early. Yeah, for sure. For sure. One of the movies that I was looking at here, extremely weird. Why isn't it on here? See what it is. Oh, I'm thinking of Ending Things. If you want to watch a movie that's about you like that movie, Assassina? I'm thinking of Ending Things. If you want to watch this movie, I do, Merrick. I'm pretty sure you can get that. If you want to watch a movie where at the end you're like, what did I just watch? Watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things, because it's just like, what just happened in that movie? Anyways, aside from that, no positions on right now. We were fortunate enough to participate here in the AIXI. A lot of fun going on here today, guys. Jesse Plemons is your boy, says Overthinking Bear. I like him a lot, that's for sure. But some good stuff here today. 230% at the highs here on AIXI. XI. And Bitcoin heading towards the highs. So I'm glad that we didn't look to go short on that one, Obi.
Yeah, that failure to follow through is definitely something. There on, it gave you volatility both ways, right? The long was sick, and then when it told you it's not going to get past that 260, 250 anymore, the short has been pretty solid as well. But bigger picture, it's still holding up.
Yeah,
it's holding up the morning ranges there on that one. So it might not be over. It might not be done just yet. So we will wait and see for that one. Let's see what our friend USO is up to. Did we hold some of those levels? So right there, that dip in the morning or earlier today in the midday, during the midday session, down to 139.60s, bought right back up and came right back into that 141 level as well. So kind of, I guess, more signs that, every dip continues to get bought off on this name. Maybe a little bit of a step back from that 8 p.m. what do you call it, APM catalyst that we might potentially get. I'm seeing here Martel Profit in the chat. I'm surprised you or Joe aren't all over this Apple trade. Trust me, I was all over this Apple trade, and it's continuing right now. Again, I missed out on the reversion here off of the lows there, but yeah, consolidation on top of VWAP, that was nice. Stair step, currently holding and maybe potentially pushing back higher as well. So good luck to you on that Apple if you are involved with that one there. But I'm not really seeing anything else that's too much in play. Maybe some small caps for sure. There's a little bit of a swipe there on USO as I bring up some volume gainers here on the day. And guess, you know what? AIXI is the top of the list today, Joe. So makes some sense there. We'll continue to go through the rest of this list right after we get back from Madeira.
There's not too much happening here with the market. I know a lot of people are wondering kind of what news is or is not happening. I do have a couple of Iran headlines. We did get a little bit of a push down here in oil as the ambassador to Iran reportedly says, or the Iranian ambassador rather, reportedly says that Iran stands ready to engage constructively with all genuine diplomatic efforts. Furthermore, we also have here on watch with regards to USO and these Middle East headlines. UN Secretary General's personal envoy reportedly en route to Tehran to pursue consultations. That does also, though, come from the UN Iran ambassador, so be aware. We're seeing some comments come through from, it appears to be the Iran ambassador to the UN. If I get more details, I will let you know. PL also on watch. Looks like NVIDIA just tagged the company and shouted them out on social media, but the stock is not moving. Back to you.
Thank you very much here. So we'll continue going down the rest of some of these volume leaders on the day. And some of these names you've been seeing over the past week or so, right? So it's some of these continue to hold some of the highest volume done in the market. NVIDIA, of course, is, it'll be up here every now and then. AIXI, I don't know if it was up there yesterday or the day before, but this one I've been seeing here more and more often. SkyQ, SKYQ, and we know just looking at some of this chart here, relative volume last Thursday, relative volume kind of slowing down a little bit yesterday, and then coming right back in on the day today with some elevated volume as well. SkyQ holding up higher highs and higher lows as it steps back above some of that action we got on Thursday here. Nokia, interesting. Maybe not that crazy of a move when it comes to volatility or anything like that, but still doing lots of volume here. 55.4 million shares. Plug Power we've been seeing over the past few weeks or so. This one's always kind of up in here. $2 stock, low price, but always doing some decent volume here. Tesla's up here as well. SIDU, bit of a pullback. 420 is the high to the dot right there, and then seller step right back in on SIDU. So I guess, not really getting too high on the day before that reversion comes in. Grab holdings, nothing crazy here. AAL, nothing crazy, but maybe something worth watching with DAL coming in with their earnings tomorrow morning. So that's pretty much the top of the list when it comes to some of the volume leaders. Micron, now that's a name I haven't looked at in a few days. Here, a bit of a double bottom here, down at 364s, and pulling right back up towards day highs. So yeah, the bid is definitely back on, guys, as we pull slow and steady back towards these highs. So I'm looking at the Mag 7s. Some of them were already at their day highs. I was talking about areas of supply. Google, as we speak right now, coming into its day high, attempting a potential breakout here. 100% V-shaped recovery on this one. Wow, there goes the market as well.
Yeah, market's ripping, dude.
There's definitely something coming out here. I got something on PL and NVIDIA. Nah, nothing just yet. Maybe we've got to wait around to see what the bid is for. Could just be follow through, could just be continuation at the same time. So years out.
Yeah, years to the ground, as the boys to the right of us would like to say. Bitcoin really moving here. I mean, a big time volume increase here. Let's get off of this.
Across the board.
AIXI thing and head over to IBIT. I'm glad that we didn't take any more attempts on the short side because it would just be absolutely blow through the moon here. Volume starting to increase on the lower time frames. We were down 2 1/3 at one point. Now we're only down 1.2 or 1.1% roughly, and continuing to climb. So that's a pretty good look if you ask me in the overall market. Tesla's flying, so nice work there, Los Polios. And as the market breaking through new pivots, we're heading towards that 5-minute opening drive wick high. Right here over at 587, and at this pace, I think we might recover. So that's not a bad look, as the volatility and the volume is definitely starting to uptick here. Pullback could get a little bit aggressive. What we want to see is a little bit of a sustained move here on IBIT in order for us to continue on this trajectory. But I think at some point things may cool down, but it could be a complete reversal. I was looking at Tesla's daily. I think
people ask me about news. I just want to give you guys an update. I don't have anything yet. I know a lot of people want to know. And so do I, but I don't have anything yet. So I think you deserve an update.
No, we need it. Thank you at all times. Thank you very much for that, Adara, as usual. What was I about to do? Yeah, Tesla daily is what I wanted to pull up. I think this is going to be an important close, right? So as we look at it from a daily perspective, how are we going to close here? Considering we're down substantially. Like, we had two pretty big negative days, a gap down here this morning as well, too. 32% from peak to trough. So, I mean, that's not a good look whatsoever, and you guys know where I stand essentially here on Tesla, but any form of a rebound would be pretty good for this name, in my opinion. What's Apple looking like? Still holding up strong. That 243 structure, that support system right there, looking pretty good there, OB. And then we had that dip south of the structure here on NVDA at 170 all the way down to 164, and then it gets bought back up. You climb essentially 10 points, a little bit more from that low, and you're just still consolidating. So at some point, we're going to pick a direction. I don't know if this is a good example. I got to find the bank that it was. But for the longest time, it was just consolidating, and then it just had this massive breakout. I don't know why I only have, where's Morgan Stanley? Do I gotta implement Morgan Stanley? Because I think that might be the one. There we go, Morgan Stanley. It was consolidating forever, Obi, and then it just eventually just broke through with extreme vigor. So JPM, Morgan Stanley, or was it Goldman? Yeah, maybe it was this consolidation here on Goldman, breaks through, but at the end of the day, right, if we're looking at this, I'm pretty sure this was it. It's just consistent higher lows, and then off to the races you go in Morgan Stanley. So if you're in, we'll call it the middle of the range, $700, all the way to $985, that's $35, or sorry, 35% from August to January. That's pretty good in a bank. And I thought that we would continue on this path here with the bank stocks, but it hasn't necessarily been the case here, Obi. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan is still down 10%. Let's see if we can find somewhat of a rebound here in these banking stocks.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be watching some of those banks, especially. I'm curious to know how they're going to perform into the middle to end of year, just based off of how we've began the year on some of these stocks here. But Circle continues to push up. I know you were saying Bitcoin continuing as well. A little bit of a crypto related name here on CRCL. I was looking for the reversion on the intraday, to be honest, but we didn't get that much of a pullback on the break of trend here. You can see that trend coming in quite nicely all the way from VWAP there. Maybe not the cleanest as it just accelerates. This is pretty much straight line up when it's going like through those opening range highs. Parabolic, questionable, but intraday, from an intraday perspective, yeah, that's pretty much a straight line up. Within the span of, let's just measure this, from 11:06 to about 12:45, it ran 7%, right? So almost just over $6 there on Circle, continuing to push to the upside. Now, market tailwind on our side as well. If you're looking at that move, a bit of a pullback off of 24.3s here on the NASDAQ, but I know you were looking at Bitcoin here. Take a look and see, wow, that is a lot of crazy volatility, man. This is on a 3-minute. So yeah. Take a look at this volume spike, all the way from 60 to 68 threes to 69s, and then flush right back in, and another ping of that same area just now gives us some pullback as well. So maybe some crazy stuff happening here. These algos, man, they're all over this stuff. They don't let some of these moves go without punching in aggressively. You can see that kind of wick not really represented here on the ES or the NASDAQ. The one I'm talking about is at 1224 here on the 3-minute chart. So that's a lot of volume to be done in terms of Bitcoin within a quick short amount of time. Let me take a quick look at a higher time frame here, because again, I don't necessarily like to look at Bitcoin on a 3-minute or anything like that. Bigger picture stuff is what I'm more focused on when it comes to something like this. I might even go to like a weekly or sometimes even a multi-week chart for something like this. And wow, we talk about maybe a pullback of 50 to 60% on average, doing about 70%, and we've done about 50% there. 52.5% from the most recent high to the most recent low since that high. So interesting stuff happening here on BTC. Continue to watch this. This was that area, that 70K breakout, right? This was talk about a trend break. This was a great trend break on Bitcoin. Here, when that came in November of 2024, we were back in those areas right now on a break of this higher frame trend as well, back through 85. So again, that thesis seems to be continuing to work out now on the break of trend exhaustion going into some of the later parts of the cycle. So, or maybe middle parts of the cycle. But yeah.
We're like dead smack at the middle, roughly.
In and around. It depends on how you look at the cycle, but yeah, we're definitely in the middle of a cycle for sure.
Oh, what's that? Like I was referring to halving cycle.
Yeah, halving cycles. There's halving cycles you can confluence with some of these price cycles that have been happening as well. So that's kind of how.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you could you look at the halving cycle in multiple different ways. I didn't know.
No.
Yeah. So it was like roughly around April of this time in 2024. Yeah, let's actually figure that out, man. The internet is a great tool. When was the last Bitcoin halving? It was April 19th to 20th, 2024. All right. So at that point, per block reward, you were getting 6.25 Bitcoin. Now you're getting 3 and a 12th there. That makes sense, 0.12. And then the next one is going to be in 2026, which Bitcoin halving dates, which you're going to receive 1 point something. Come on, Cloudflare, you can do it. Uh-oh, it's risky here, Obi. Got to get out of this one here. All right, there we go, just in case the computer might crash. Or something.
Oh, does that happen sometimes?
Oh, all the time. I can't pull X up on here, otherwise it will crash my system.
You gotta do a clean reset.
I tried,
of that
man.
one.
I tried.
Or like a full clean reset of that PC. There's definitely some weird things happening on that PC. I always get a little sketched out in terms of
Neil doesn't like it either.
In terms of what kind of software might be running in the background there on that one, but
I think they're watching for sure, eh?
Oh, I mean, they're always watching.
Hey, crazy. Let's see what we got going on here. 210 blocks. Come on, just give me the dates, man. I don't need all of
there
this.
There it is. There's some past
2016,
dates,
2024, and then 2028. We're in 2026. I said 2026. Man, oh man. 5th halving date. It's going to be April 17th. Reward down from 3.12 Bitcoin to 1.5 Bitcoin. After that, you will no longer be receiving a full Bitcoin in 2032.
Yep.
Obi. In 2032, you will no longer be receiving a full Bitcoin.
From what, mining efforts?
Yeah, from block rewards. Yeah. I mean, think about this. How much
does it cost right now to
mine a Bitcoin?
Yeah.
A lot.
Right.
We can figure that out immediately. We'll ask Gemini.
Yeah.
How much
does
on
it cost?
Average does it cost?
Well, like 20, 30, 40K?
One.
Maybe? I don't know.
Sure, Katina Man said he was a Bitcoin miner back in the day as well.
Yeah, there you go.
As of early 2026, the average cost to mine one Bitcoin estimated around 70 to 87K.
Yeah. So it's not it's definitely not profitable to mine a Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, 80K says Peter. Yeah, thanks for that one. BTC to 500K says Vault Builder. I mean, Bitcoin to zero. So those are two extremes. We have a Bitcoin to zero from Trawit, and then we have a Bitcoin to 500K.
Yeah.
Which
It's always funny. There's like people are so polarized always about Bitcoin. It's just like, okay, cool.
You got a complete mixed bag on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you have both ends of the spectrum there.
What end do you lay on there?
I mean, I've talked about my opinion on Bitcoin over and over again, where it's just like, yeah, so it's like some of those valuations, like 500K within the next whatever, it's like, okay, fine, but like, you know how exactly, it's a stretch. Is it going to zero? There has to be so many other catastrophic things that have to happen before that can even occur. So
okay,
it's
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is more likely, 500K or zero?
Over time?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Which one is more likely? What do you think, Katina, man? I know you're
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about zero, but like I think if it were to come down to a lower price, then yeah, for sure. So that's very likely.
Regardless of
but
time.
500K, I don't know. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, maybe in a couple of years, maybe we do get there. But
span of your life.
How was the last push, right? We got that breakout. We just take a look at the chart and just measure in terms of magnitude, right? Even though now I know, you know what, we'll go to, yeah, exactly, 1 month on this one right here. So we'll take a look at the last run. And sure, the magnitude kind of increases a little bit, but from this prior low right here, you see my anchored VWAP right there, right? We've held pretty well. But yeah, okay, so 650%.
From what date was that?
From January 23rd, sorry, 2023.
And how much was the price in the teens?
It was around 15, yeah, 15, okay. 16, yeah. So that's about 600%. So if and when we do create a base, let's see, right? Last place we found a bid was maybe in and around that area as well. So another 650 pop brings us to 200K.
Okay.
Right? So I think 200K is a lot more likely. If we go for the next run, yeah, 125s, you push a few more quarters away, 150s, 175s, 200s. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. But this right here is sitting in around 20, 30K. So I think if we break down, we definitely have room to break down. But I'm not going to go as extreme to say that it's going to 500, it's going to zero. I think that it definitely will experience volatility in the same ranges that it has been since day one.
Before.
So
fair enough.
Like that's kind of what I like to go off
of. There's really only one way we can settle this here, Obi, and that's with a poll.
Yes.
We're going to throw up a poll here. Let's see, stock voting game. Now, guys, we're gonna poll and see what we got going on. We got
ask the question. That was from the last poll.
Yeah, that was from the last poll. So you guys can get that one in there if you didn't vote on the last one. Android leading the way there, Obi. So not too bad of a look.
Power users.
Power, yeah. What is more likely, right? In BTC, 500K, 500K.
You got to put a third one on there.
Or zero, and then what should our third option be?
I don't know. Third option.
I
have it in my mind, but I don't know if I'm gonna.
What is it? I don't know.
No, those are two extreme ends of the spectrum. It can be like not so extreme. I don't know.
All right, get the votes in there, guys. What is more likely? I guess we should have a timeline in there maybe as well too. But we got one vote already to 500K. So you could, if you're voting there, boom, off to the races we go. Get those votes in, guys. Doubling it up, leading the way is 500K.
Son of Daniel with the super chat.
What do you say?
Coming in. We'll throw up that super chat while we get the votes in here as well. Saying quantum computing may one day destroy Bitcoin, but never ruin cheese.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that, to be honest with you. I was like, hey, do we still have to worry about in our rearview mirror here, essentially, what quantum can do for the X hash?
I'm sure there's contingencies in place that people are definitely working on. The question is it going to roll out fast enough? That's going to be my thing.
Neil
There are
went,
definitely
Neil went
contingencies
2.
in place.
Neil went 2. You still think it goes to 0?
2 is 0. 1 is 500K.
So it is.
So you meant to say 1. Okay, so he meant to say 1. He meant to say 1. He meant to
Brother,
say 500K.
how are you not looking at the poll and voting?
Here it is. Boom,
There
boom,
you go.
boom,
All right,
boom,
here
boom.
we got all right, there we go.
There you go.
Anyways, aside from that, IBIT still continuing to climb the market on a grind here, guys. 49 votes. It's a pretty tight race here, like iPhone and Android. Android did come out on top, but yeah, get those in there. Just say 5. For some reason, somebody says
Lubo
2.
saying it's all
I didn't
about
even
XRP. Hey guys, if it's all about something, it's going to be all about Dogecoin.
I think that ship has sailed now.
Wow.
A dog with hat.
Yeah, it could be, Fartcoin. We've heard of that one.
Michael
Good,
Moss likes that one.
good volatility on that one there.
Sol and ETH.
Yeah, no. So I think Sol. Obviously, so, all jokes aside, I think Sol and ETH, especially ETH, is going to be something more interesting. XRP I like as well.
Just for the structural capabilities.
Just for the ETH has more. Yeah, exactly. How it's structured gives it a little bit more value, in my opinion. But yeah, no. Really depends on how things pan out. Quantum will definitely give us a bit of
I think there's going to be a speed bump along the way with.
For sure. I think so.
Yeah.
I think we might settle down a little bit until we can get the, how do you say, the cryptography behind the scenes.
Will Health
figured out.
Wilhen Wilfed. Tell us a little bit more then, my friend. Type it in. We'll read what you have to say. Monopoly money is worth more, says I don't text. I mean,
No, I agree with you, Neil. Neil's saying that he feels like 20K or 150K would have been a lot more reasonable, 100%. And if that were the case, then I would say that maybe 150 a little bit more within range there for sure. But I don't know if I would go to those extremes just yet.
Neil, I actually, if you're listening to me right now, you know that I had a bet with Sharif. I had a bet with Katina Man. I'm 2-0 against Katina Man and 1-1 against Sharif. I have a bet for you, but there's a little bit of a catch, okay? If you're listening. I'm willing to take the Dodgers to win the World Series, and you can have the field, but I want 2-1 odds. Yeah. Yeah. But I want 2-1.
Well, how does 2-1 work? We're not betting
so
money.
like if it's the bet is $20, I win 40, but you can only win 20.
Okay, so here's the first thing. I don't like making money bets with friends because I don't want your $20. I want to do something fun with it.
Well, that's what
if you can figure out a way
Millie.
for us to do something fun where like my consequence can be worse than yours. I'm down with that, but I don't want your $20. That's literally boring, and nobody cares. But I am more than willing to have you're gonna give me the field. I already hate the Dodgers, bro.
That's
done and done. Just think of something creative though. Creative.
Yeah. We'll think of something creative. All right, we're down with that. Is that a deal?
Done.
Let's
do it.
Shake.
Someone in the chat said 2,000 push-ups versus 1,000 push-ups.
No.
I ain't doing no.
You don't have to do them all at once. You can do like 150, 250 at a time, and that's fine.
Obi, I'm not David Goggins, bro.
Yeah, we're not
Are you
Goggins,
crazy? 1,000 push-ups? That's the dumbest nonsense. I mean, you want to
do
talk
it
like
not in one sitting.
I mean, if it was only 900 push-ups,
1,000 push-ups?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit more doable, right?
What are we talking about?
Tina
here?
Man, did you hear the bet, brother? Okay, so
what was it? What was the bet?
So I have the Dodgers to win the World Series, and Neil can have the field. But I want 2-1 essentially on what it is.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I could probably look that bet up. That's probably pretty reasonable.
What if neither team wins the World Series? What happens then?
No, one team will win.
I only have one team. Neil has the other 30
so
plus people.
I see. I don't understand bets clearly.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, that makes sense.
No, it's. By the way, anyone trading Apple today? It's this pretty good. Apple.
I had 2 apples. Apples were great this morning.
I'm long Apple right now.
Nice.
We're getting ready.
On that news.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's why I flipped long on that news. But anyways,
It's holding up quite nicely.
I think Bitcoin 10,000 before 500,000.
Well, see, I had this comment to Obi. I put in the chat. I go, it shouldn't be 0 and 500,000. It should be. I said 20,000 and 150 would be
Something more
reasonable.
sane,
Like something a little bit more
within range.
that's kind. It's like 2x. I guess it's more than cut in half.
Yeah.
But like that's, I think, a reasonable proposition. The problem when you put it to 0 or 500K, it's so,
Ramin's saying
so
that
absurd.
Joe
Even
will have
decide.
to eat soggy tilapia pie.
Forget about it. Hey, you know what we should do? A real thing. We should do a Masters pool. Masters is this weekend. We can all take one or two
you
guys.
guys are big
I'm asking
golf.
ChatGPT.
I'm not big. I haven't watched a golf thing in forever, man.
Yeah,
Can you
I
name
don't
more
know,
than one?
man.
Like I know Bryson.
As long as I get Scotty Scheffler.
I know
Rory
Bryson
McIlroy.
and Scheffler. Oh, Rory.
We could do an NBA.
Joe's agent is in my ear right now. He's not getting enough time on air, so I think we
gotta
gotta go.
get out of here.
All right, we gotta go. All right, we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Hey there, my agent. Thanks for looking out my agent. It's Ram Ram. She's in the background. Yeah, Ram Ram. Hey man, get ready to negotiate. Aside from that, IBIT guys, we can go over the market. We only have a couple more minutes left. What is the Blue Jays bet worth? It's not worth the Blue Jays. Anyways, aside from that, I might be in a little bit of trouble. This might be my weekend activity here, Obi.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, considering we went to Lob last week. It was a good day, guys. We can go over a quick trade review. Never mind us going on what we're doing in our pastime. Yeah, thanks, Milton. Double Milton. We can do a quick trade review here, guys. We tried the short on IBIT back here. It didn't work. That initial short worked for us really well. But other than that, we just stuck to AIXI, and that was actually worlds of fun with you guys, essentially. I wanted in here, but gimme never gets, essentially, there, Obi. This tape's still going nuts. 173%.
Yeah, man.
But we take it, we fix our error right there. We get off to the races on this one, comes back against us, climbs higher. And then after this trend broke, right, like we had a basic trend line, we engage on that one, half size, full disclosure. We get on the backside of this trend, and then off to the races we go. And we're fortunate to sit in that crazy volatility spike in that halt up. That was a world of fun. Other than that, man, a pretty quiet one here today. Still lots of news going on. Adara, Sia bringing us that news without any question. And we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. I had a couple trades, I guess, on USO tried one there at around VWAP. That didn't really come in. Flipped all the way to the downside there, and then still consolidating underneath its lows there. Apple tried some reversions before, and when it did come in, we were talking to one of our users, one of our viewers there, and they were just like, okay, what about the reversion on Apple? And that was the place to get in there, chopped up on the short, blasted through on that news, which wasn't very nice. But within range of what we're more than capable of doing, so it's fine. Intel, we'll take a look at that one there. Intel in the morning, bit of a miss right here. Client didn't really say that I was in the position until I found out till later and missed out on the short as well. So misses all around for me on the day today. So not the best, but tomorrow's another day. Where's the next trade is what I'm always asking.
Absolutely, my agent in my ear right now as well too, that we better get it over to the big boys to the right of us before anything else happens. It was a good one, it was fun.
Yes.
Some volatility spikes, whether it worked or not, we all know it can go either way. Sometimes in your favor, sometimes not, and that's the nature of the beast. More news to come, guys. A lot coming up at potentially 8 o'clock. Let's see if Trump sticks to his word this time or is willing to push back that deadline. AIXI. He was him today. And guys, let's send it off. Hope everyone has a fantastic Tuesday. It is Taco Tuesday, so make sure you do use my new taco recipe relatively soon. All right?
We'll be back tomorrow.
Be back tomorrow, same time. 11 o'clock, guys.
Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. And it is